of disc golf.
Right. Yeah,
Don't hurt yourself.
10 minutes, which includes question time. So depending on how long you talk for, depends on how many questions you get fired your way.
Oh yeah, for those that don't know me, my name's Burgess, and I come today representing the Queenstown Disc Golf Club. So the Queenstown Gardens Disc Golf Course was the first disc golf course installed in New Zealand over 30 years ago, in the 90s. Now, I also, as a side note, serve as the chair of the New Zealand Disc Golf Association. New Zealand now has over 180 disc golf courses around the country, of which Queenstown on this side of the Crown Range has 5, and over in Wanaka there is another 3 or 4. I'm not too sure what the upper close are. So you've got Lismore, Ely Point, there's one down at the Confluence, Luggett, and then Harwood. Yeah. So within this region, it is obviously the Queenstown Lakes District's a massive active recreation district, and disc golf is one of those sports that is sort of really accessible for kids as young as 4 or 3. And our oldest player, our oldest member is about 91. The Queenstown Gardens Disc Golf Course in particular is one of the most heavily used disc golf courses in the country. It was the 3rd most used course last year, behind one in Invercargill and one in Christchurch. With that, within the botanical gardens part of the course, there's been significant wear and tear around the baskets and the tee pads and around some of the more vulnerable trees. The Queenstown Disc Golf Club maintained that course through volunteer sort of labour and whatnot. We've been asked by the QLDC Parks team to put a bit of a program in the works to avoid some of the damage that's happening to some of the trees and the compaction around the baskets that is limiting the trees and plant life's ability to soak up the water and oxygen. That's going to cost a pretty penny as far as some landscaping. We'd probably need to, for health and safety reasons, bring in a contractor to assist us with that. We've walked around the Queenstown Gardens with the Parks team and identified what is the priority and in what list and over what time period. And the club is willing to put some of its reserves from its membership and fundraising tournaments towards it. But yeah, our application is basically to support the continued use of the Botanic Gardens section of the disc golf course. It is the, how would I say it nicely? It's the family-friendly part of the course. So it's the course that if you have a 5 or 6-year-old, you can take them to it. It's a nice, easy walk around the gardens. The holes aren't too long. Whereas when you get down to the shelter belt part, the holes are a lot longer and you're walking up and down hills, and some of our young kids aren't overly keen with that. So we're keen to see it continue. We're keen to work with QLDC and the Parks team to look at that. They've offered some great support as far as mulch and other types of material, but the pressing issue is to address some of the compaction around the base of some of the more vulnerable trees in these gardens. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Alan. Questions, councillors?
Have you, so Parks, sorry, who set it up in the first place?
The Queenstown, I believe it was set up by
Sorry, you wouldn't be here
a guy named James Smithers and a few others in the Queenstown district.
And that was self-funded, it wasn't put in by...
I believe so. Yeah. There may have been, over the years, there's definitely been some funding from QLDC, some lotteries funding, etc. Each one of those baskets are about $1,200, so they're not cheap. Yeah, it's sort of been, but we hold 2 fundraising tournaments a year, one being Queenstown Classic, it's our anniversary weekend, the other being one on Tuckers Beach, and that, along with membership, that provides us some money to put into a maintenance program.
So roughly how many members you got for Queenstown?
So for Queenstown, so for the last membership year, we had 98 members, permanent members. The issue with disc golf is it's free to play. You don't actually have to be a member to play.
We'll go to the next question, like in golf clubs, if you want to play, you got to pay a green fee.
Yeah,
From, you know, if you're not a member, so you don't have that control or.
we don't, and that's a worldwide issue with disc golf is it's pretty much free to play anywhere as long as you've got something that's round and can fly. You can walk up to any public park and play. There are pay to play courses on, like in Invercargill, you can play on the golf course there. They have a disc golf course that runs alongside. We have a plan to go and reach out to some of the businesses that rent discs out. The Ice Arena are probably the biggest ones. They rent out discs for maybe $5 or $10 each. They sometimes, the lost discs get handed into the Ice Arena, and sometimes they don't find their way back to the owners and end up in a rental stack. But we've got a plan to work with some of those businesses to see if they can maybe start putting $1 per rental towards some of the upkeep.
Okay, the last one. Do you have any agreement with the council for use of that land, or does it come under the reserve management plan to it?
So I believe it's part of that, the Gardens Reserve Management Plan. There is a volunteers agreement that we signed up to and we're bound by. So we are bound to maintain that course. I suppose the big issue for us is that we don't have a huge amount of control over the number of tourists that play.
Yeah.
So it was estimated, because we only track the people that score on our app. The people that scored on the app could be 1 to 7 people that play on that scorecard. There were 50,000 scored rounds last year.
And you don't have any ability to put any sort of voluntary donation type, like QR code or anything from visiting players?
Yeah.
The others app and say, okay, I'll maybe put $5 in or 20.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're hoping to look at with the redevelopment, is to replace the current sign that sits there with the whole maps and things like that, bit of information, QR code, please donate. You know, like many sporting clubs do.
Okay, thank you.
So that you just golf,
You just golf, yeah.
What's it called? Disc golf?
you just.
You just.
Oh, you
Play
just.
yourself.
Okay, didn't know about it. I'm gonna download it.
With regards to soil aeration that you've kind of noted, so you've asked for 5,000, but obviously the cost of doing the work is a lot more.
I suppose from a strategic point of view, we felt like we would be able to match up to 5,000, and we thought that a 50-50 application would be supported. We're pretty realistic in what it's going to cost. But there's going to that money would go towards probably the contractors, and we would look to do any work further to that with basic general labour from the membership.
And I assume that obviously there's lots of conversations with the parks team.
Yeah.
Clearly. So can any of that contract work be kind of integrated, or do you feel like it can?
So once it's remediated, then there is the ability for those parks contractors, the staff that work there, to top up some of the mulch around the base of the trees.
Right.
I think it's just the preparation of getting it ready to take it all is going to take
That's just extra beyond what.
So the maintaining, once we've got it remediated, the maintenance we do feel like can be 50-50.
Thank you.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you.
Next up, do we have Liz? Hi, Liz.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Morning.
You've got 10 minutes, but if you're shorter than that, you'll get asked questions.
Thank you.
Right. Go.
All right, tēnā katoa, everyone. My name is Liz, and I'm here representing the Lakes Multicultural Collective, formerly known as the Kiwi Kid Community Trust. So thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and speak with you today. I want to begin by expressing our heartfelt gratitude to the Queenstown Lakes District Council for the multi-year operations grant that you awarded us last year. And that was for our office space, which we call the Community Hub. That has been a cornerstone of our work. That space has become more than just an office. It's become a place where other communities can also come in, use, and it's a place where, you know, where other communities can come and feel welcome. And so we share that space with the other communities as well. We are also deeply thankful for the QLDC Welcoming Communities team. Their guidance, partnership, and belief in our kaupapa have helped shape the LMC into the organization that we are today. We are truly humbled and grateful for the support. We've come a long way since we began our work, driven by lived experience. Like many in our community, I arrived in Queenstown not knowing where everything was. That feeling of isolation is something that we all work hard to prevent from happening. Today, we seek your support for a new initiative, Building Bridges, the Ethnic and Pacifica Communities Leaders Hui. This project is about creating regular, safe, and inclusive spaces where leaders can come together from diverse backgrounds to every 2 months to share experiences, collaborate, and inspire one another. This Hui will be community-led, shaped by the voices in the room. Each one is a chance to hear directly from those doing the mahi, so we can better tailor our services and respond to their needs. We'll also bring in trusted partners like the Citizens Advice Bureau and Happiness House, and invite guest speakers who can share valuable knowledge or spark new thinking. It's the first initiative of its kind in our district, and we believe it will be a game changer for strengthening relationships, reducing duplication of efforts, and fostering collaboration. So today, we are humbly seeking your support for our new initiative. Our goals are simple but powerful. Build confidence, knowledge, and leadership capacity within our communities. Create stronger cross-cultural connections. Support a sense of belonging where every voice matters. We're requesting just 5,000. I shouldn't say just 5,000 because that's a lot of money. We're requesting $5,000, please, to help cover the cost for venue hire, refreshments, because of course, you know, food brings people together and they will only come, I mean, a lot of people come because of food as well. And the speaker koha. It's a big ask, but the impact will be significant. The reason I say big is because we've already received funding from you guys last year. And I know this sounds a bit greedy, but it's something that will truly help, you know, that will truly help our communities, our diverse communities. Reaching at least 120 participants across 15 different ethnic communities. This project represents the heart of who we are at Lakes Multicultural Collective. A connector, a listener, and a bridge builder. With your continued support, we can keep creating spaces that honor diversity and empower our communities to thrive. Thank you very much, and thank you for walking on this journey with us. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Liz. Questions? Cody?
Thanks, Liz. Whereabouts do you guys hold your get-togethers at the moment, out of curiosity?
At the moment, we've been using the Salvation Army at Pin Oaks Road.
Yeah.
We've been using their space, the auditorium.
And what kind of venues would you be looking to host these bi-monthly meetings in?
Well, whichever venue that is available on the day, because of course we will always make the Huis. We'll always do the Huis when the leaders are available.
Yeah.
So and when that venue is available, that's the ones that we'll book But yeah, we haven't really booked anything yet, because we're waiting to get the funding. But we have venues in mind already.
Okay, Lyle and Esther.
Yeah, just, can you just remind me what you were given last time?
We were given 3-year grant, from 2024 to 2027 and 10,000 each year.
How much?
10,000 each year.
Okay. Is that not enough to cover what you want to do?
No, unfortunately,
Okay.
that's for our office space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you expand a little bit better on the relationship with our welcoming communities structure or council?
Okay, so yeah, we work closely with Sylvia. Well, to be honest, when I first joined, I was thrown in the deep blue sea and I had to swim across. And Sylvia was the one who helped me get connections, who helped me build relationships and build those connections with our communities. So she's, so that's a type of support they provided, and they've told us, okay, have you heard about this community? They're here, then I go out. So
They're not directly involved in helping organise these HUIs?
yes.
Yeah.
Not in organizing the HUIs, but when we have these HUIs, if we feel that they need to be present, then we will get them in.
Thank you.
Esther?
I was gonna ask, sorry, I forgot what I was gonna ask. So with regards to the HUIs, what kind of, can you give examples of speakers that you're inviting?
Oh,
people to
like,
listen to?
Yeah, we had a few in mind. We were thinking of inviting, one of the speakers that we want to invite is Jennifer from Foundation Wakatipu.
Oh, yeah.
Because, she can bring them ideas on, philanthropy, funding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the type of speakers we were looking at. Somebody who can give them inspiration. Yeah.
Thank you.
And what other funding do you receive, or who else do you receive funding for? Because I just looked at the actual of the year 24 and your performance report, and the community grants are definitely a lot larger than what QLDC have done.
We also receive funding from Central Lakes Trust.
Oh, yeah.
As well as Department of Internal Affairs.
Okay. Cool.
And QLDC and Community Trust South.
A community trust. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Next up is Damien from the Glenorchy Community Golf Club. You have a Damien from the Glenorchy Community Golf Club?
He might have been in the chat that was there.
No, it's he was these allied press.
Oh, right. So there was a drop out with Queenstown Association Football Club. That's the one. Yeah, we've had a bit of a change in the schedule.
Well, can I get a please get a printout of the change? Is it the same? Well, can I get a change of actual printout, please? Okay, so who's next?
We've got Queenstown Association Football Club.
Okay, rightio.
Right, hey, how are you? Thank you for having us. I'll just hand you this visual as well, which apologies for that, it's online. I haven't realised it was online.
We can share it, yeah.
That's all right, thank you. So this, I thought the visualisation would just help, just what we're trying to achieve and do. Apologies to our club president Simon Fitzbone, he's overseas. Our secretary Gareth Edwards, who's just on the new job, so his diary's already full. So essentially, my name's Dan Somerville, I've been on the committee for just over a year now, and Dylan here just joined us recently.
Yeah, I've Dylan Wilson. I've just come back from a stint in Switzerland. I'm originally from Ramley Beach, so I'm the token Kiwi on the committee. Actually, they're all English.
Anyway, so what we've put in the grant for, so thank you for having us. What we've put in the grant for is $10,000 to go towards our operational costs, towards grounds and fees, etc., and pitches. Overall, the club itself, and you can see from the diagram on the right-hand side, those sort of three boxes under the club shield. Some of the things we're looking to do and achieve this year and are achieving, we're growing and expanding. So if you go back sort of a couple of years, we had a membership of approximately 100. Now we're over 350, heading north of 400 quite rapidly, because community term 2 is community football for us. And we always get extra additions as the Queenstown community is growing, more and more people come along through word of mouth as well. So what some of our goals that we're looking to achieve this year and cement are offering football throughout the year. Instead of it being 18 months, 2 years ago, it was a term 2 community aspect. We're looking to offer a community football available throughout the year. So we've got different offerings, and the other piece we're trying to achieve is actually different offerings for different levels of children, because we want to create a pathway all the way from the 6-year-old through to the national team effectively. So this is how we ladder up to Football South and to the national sides and to the club sides like the Wellington Phoenixes, the Christchurch Uniteds, etc. So we're striving to grow our membership so that kids in the region can go through at each age group, where they're playing under 9s, under 10s, etc., and play with their club and community football as they go through. We've also earlier this year, absorbed the Whitmarsh Academy into the club as well. So we've created that academy level standard of football. We've got several pro licensed coaches, including Jamie working with us, Jamie Whitmarsh. And that's given us this strength and depth now to offer kids community football, but also for those who've got the capability and the desire to play more regularly and have got the skill set and the willingness to commit, that they've got that availability to grow with us. So that includes tournament football. So the last school holiday we hosted Queenstown tournament. We've had clubs from Auckland come down, through from Christchurch, Morsgill, Dunedin, as well as more locally as well, and Alex Wanaka. So that's our ambition overall, is to grow, create pathways for kids of all ages, and actually grow and expand women and girls game as well, so that's been underrepresented probably to date in the community. So we're looking to grow and expand that. So the grassroots
I was just going to say on the women's football. So at the moment, the girls are playing in the boys' team, so they're mixed teams, and there's some very good players. But there's a plan just to kind of grow that, and obviously that's a global thing, right? I'm sure you follow what's happening in England, but you know this growth of, like Arsenal, for example, had 3,000 going to their games, and now occasionally they sell out the Emirates, which is 70,000. So we see this as a massive growth area for the sport, and maybe challenge things like netball, which I guess are traditionally the kind of stronger women's sport or girls' sports in New Zealand.
Yeah. In fact, Everton Football Club in the UK, they've just they've taken the decision their men's team is moving to the new ground. So they've outgrown their Goodison Park, their historic ground, the 40,000. They've taken the decision not to demolish the one and sort of sell it to housing, but actually have that for the women's game, because they see it expanding. Well, it's actually a lot of people would want to stay there because of its environment and its history and its intimidating place. So for us overall, there's growth for us in the sport, offering kids something every term to come back to, offering them the ability to play football and get coaching, whatever their standard, whatever their current capability and their starting point is. We have multiple programs that we have through the year. I'm also looking at a goalkeeping program as well, because you can't play the game without a goalkeeper, and we've got to feed into that. We have had in the past goalkeepers go through to New Zealand football and Phoenix as well. So a number of programs that we have, but the sponsorship in particular is really to support our growth and how we keep pace with our providing services to a growing community and a growing membership base.
Just one final thing from my perspective. I think it kind of the growth of football here just reflects the growing, the changes in demographics in a place like Queenstown, right? You've got a very large community from South America. You've got a lot of Europeans and things like that, and obviously Kiwis as well are starting to like football a lot more than maybe few years ago, you know.
Of course, we're having a game season.
Where it was more, you know, it was a lot more regulars.
Yeah, that's a big subject because I'm actually from Wanaka, so it's big over there too. We've got our senior team is on up the league.
That's right.
They're after a lot of money, but they're mainly after more playing fields. So what's your relationship with the Wanaka Football Club? And you have to understand, and also can you explain what when you say operational costs,
Yes.
we were more specific because, yeah, we've got a lot of demand for, regionally, we start looking regionally, we start just doing Warwick, Queenstown, Cromwell separately.
Yeah.
And where do we put the, say the international standard artificial turf and things like that?
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in this area, and we know in Wanaka it's huge for sport.
Yeah, 100%. I think we do the 4 clubs as well, including Cromwell and Alex. Obviously, they run the community football side, so the club presidents actively talk all the time in the clubs.
That's good.
And there's discussion about whichever the age group is, whether it's the community football, the seniors, etc. There is a lot of dialogue around that, and I think at the moment we're just a few weeks into 4 weeks into the community season, and there's active discussion at the sort of under 11s upwards, because one of the challenges we have as clubs is you want the community football to be exactly that, bring people together. So what we've all done is we've mixed our academy players evenly across our community teams. At the under 10s, which I coach, we've got 40 kids at that age group.
Yeah.
We mix in the academy so that there's no one team that's particularly loaded, and it makes it unbalanced as they go out. But what we found with the under 11s going upwards is that is happening, it's unbalanced. So we're changing it, and we're working actively with one and things.
So where do you mainly, let's get back to the 10,000 for operational costs.
Yes.
Where do you play at the moment?
Our main base, our home club, if you like, our base is the event centre.
Yeah.
So that's where we hosted the tournament at school holidays in the Oval, and across onto the further pitches all the way through there.
But you pay for the use of that, and then I'm just trying to understand the
Yes.
maintenance costs and that sort of.
So they are almost 20,000 for us for our pitch use for the year that we're hosting. So that's whether that's girls or women's football in the evenings, men's.
Yeah.
Wednesdays our main training days, where last night we've got over 40 teams that play on the community side.
Yeah.
And then the academy runs on a Tuesday or Friday, and then we host. So this Sunday we're hosting the other community clubs. We'll be out there in force.
Just go quickly, Katie.
Right, I'm ready.
Yeah, no
Yeah, all the time.
Did you raise your fees this year?
Very marginally. We're very mindful of the cost of living currently at the moment, so we've kept them pretty flat, to be honest. We've tried to look across all of the different pieces we've got and keep them even across each of the term. So even though the offering's slightly different, we're trying to keep it even. So futsal, for example, is indoor on term 3 into the winter. So to answer your question directly, we've kept it pretty flat. We've just evened a few out at different age groups. But no, we're mindful of the cost of the families at the moment.
Is that?
Yeah, it's just related to fees as well. What are your community fees?
It's approximately about $185 for a term. So
Okay.
that's run through for a term, and so when it comes.
And now you're looking at obviously doing it throughout the year, so.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. And have you looked at kind of subscription type fees, or do you just?
What we want the commitment for people through the year. If people need to talk to us about paying instalments and things, then we would do that. But where our outlay is based on a term or at least 6 months. So what we look for people's commitment is upfront. We do get people come along and actually trial before they choose to join. So if they want to come along and have some 2, 3, 4 sessions and trial things, see if it's for them.
Yeah.
It's obviously one of the things that people have got. There's a lot of choices, whether you do basketball, netball, skiing, mountain biking.
With regards to the pathway, so
Yes.
I've played women's football
Yeah.
and was part of Rovers.
Yeah.
Jamie Whitmarsh and
Yeah.
Aaron Rewe, and then we've gone to the Masters every 2 years
Yeah.
and won.
Yes,
So there's some good women's
there are.
female players here, but from that pathway point of view, like, so I've been here quite a long
Just
time,
agree.
it's been an issue for a long time. I guess the pathway point of view, if you've got Phoenix and other
Yeah.
avenues for people to go to, are Phoenix kind of looking, can they be a part of?
It's actually Christchurch United, that we're going to be a bit closer link with.
Okay.
Christchurch came down in for a 3-day, we invited them down, or collaboration with us, they did 3 days programme in this end of the school holidays in January.
But they're only kind of invest in the one-offs rather than.
No,
Okay,
so
so
they've shared a lot
sorry.
of resources with us as well,
Okay.
yeah, and we do a tournament.
Thanks,
up there.
David. Thanks, Dawn.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
What else is it?
Anna. Or is it Damien?
Thanks.
We've got a Damien?
There's a lady there. 2 ladies there.
That must be Anna.
I've got Damien first, but Anna's here and prepared to talk.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Brought the prop with you, I did bring the prop. I think it's a bit noisier. It's not.
Yeah, right.
I can help if you want.
You can sit down, oh, yeah.
Might not like you. Over here,
It's probably quite
Right.
scary lady.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Anna Tukulunga. My name's Anna and I'm the co-chair of the Wakatipu Toy Library. And this is my supervisor, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me here today and for the opportunity to share a bit about who we are, what we do and how we're hoping to grow with your support. The Wakatipu Toy Library plays a vital role in supporting local families by providing access to a wide range of quality toys that foster learning, creativity and social development in Tamariki. We're passionate about making play-based learning both affordable and accessible, while also promoting sustainability through the sharing of reusing of toys. At the moment, we're seeking funding support for 2 key projects. The first is to install a new heat pump in our library space, which will make a huge difference to the comfort and usability of the toy library for both our members and staff, especially during Queenstown winters. The second is to support project wages so that we can establish an online catalogue and website, making it easier for families to browse our 1,200 plus toys from home and plan their visits and understand what we offer. It's a crucial step towards modernising our service and making it more accessible. We've had a relatively fresh committee come on board recently, and earlier this year we've had a strategy to set our direction. Our main goal, that's to become financially sustainable with our operation and costs by 2030. To do this, we know we need to increase our relevance and our reach. We want to improve what we offer, make our kaupapa more desirable and accessible to the community, and ensure every new family in Queenstown knows that the Toy Library is here for them. Right now, our membership numbers remain historically low, even though Queenstown's family population is growing. So without some bold strategic changes, including the projects we're proposing today, we risk jeopardising the future of the Toy Library. And that's not something we want to see happen at all. We believe every family deserves access to affordable quality play opportunities. Something that's not immediately obvious in our funding application is just how embedded we are in this community. We're supported by local businesses like Bunnings, the Warehouse Group, Todd and Walker Law, for example, who have provided donated and discounted goods. Our members get stuck into helping with fundraising, stock taking, day-to-day operations and events. And we also work closely with the likes of Central Lakes Family Service, running demos for their new parents group and space groups, and Teddy Bear's Picnic as well. These connections, they do matter. They help us reach new families and ensure that our kaupapa aligns with the broader community needs. That said, we're also realistic that we know that there's still more mahi to be done in this space, and we're committing to building those relationships further. In a fast-growing region like ours, services like the Toy Library are more important than ever. We offer a simple but powerful model, one that's affordable, sustainable, and grounded in community. Thanks again for your consideration. With your support, we can take the next step to growing. this taonga for our whānau, and continue to play, connect, and sustainably across the Wakatipu Basin. Ngā mihi.
Questions?
Who applied for any other grants?
Yes,
Okay.
not for these things. We have applied for core operational costs through Gaming Aotearoa, which we've been successful for.
Yep.
We've also applied with the airport community fund, which we're seeking new toys.
Yeah.
And those are the only two applications. Oh, sorry, COGS.
Okay.
As
so
well,
yeah,
but that's for operational, it would stand operational costs.
Okay.
So nothing that is what we're seeking today.
Have you ever thought about the waste minimisation fund? Because
Yes.
actually, and given that people need to buy less toys by becoming a member, it seems to be quite a
Definitely. We've had that before and we got new toys. We will be submitting an application this year as well.
okay.
And that would be for reusable party hire equipment.
Oh, cool.
And also for jacket extenders for hapu mama.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy excess jackets or excess stuff. You can just use a jacket extender. Yeah. So that's what we'll be applying for the waste minimisation.
Oh, thank you.
There's a second project, the website, was that the second project?
Yes, the
Okay.
website, yes.
And whereabouts, sorry, the heat pump, whereabouts are you located?
We're at the event centre and a porta-com outside the event centre.
Porta-com outside the event centre?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And do you have to pay for that, use that porta-com?
We own the porta-com.
Oh, you own the porta-com?
Yeah, so we have
But it's
very
just
low
on site.
operational costs other than staff wages.
Okay.
Essentially, we've managed to get some funding and free stuff through other avenues, like the Wi-Fi and things like that.
Cool.
Have you, so it's obviously specific to the heat pump. Have you had any quotes for second hand at all, or is that for?
No, we haven't had second-hand quotes, no.
Yeah, because I just wondered if that could be an option as well.
No, but you can be all day.
Good. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
I'm hosting next Damien.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I don't know that.
Okay.
It's just-
Take away 2 minutes if you're, then there you get answered a few questions.
Okay,
Go for it.
I'll try and keep it brief. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present. We submitted an application for rabbit-proof fencing for the Glenorchy Golf Course and the recreational grounds there. Our hope is obviously to manage the rabbits as opposed to eradicate them from the grounds completely. That's kind of an uphill battle that's not realistic. So how we see it is, so for my time, I've been in charge of the golf course for the last 5 years. In that time, we've grown our memberships from 5 up to close to 100 currently. And we've seen a lot more activity and use of the common grounds. We have a population of 55 children currently in Glenorchy under the age of 12, 40 of which are under the age of 8. This space is a very valuable asset for the community and for the young children growing up, and we want it to be able to be used in a positive way for them. With the ways of society currently, with the internet, screen time and gaming, we see this as the place where children will be able to get out of the home and play and get involved in sports and activities as a group. So it's more for the wider community that we want to protect this area from the devastation of the rabbits. That currently the golf course is under threat from them as far as it damages it by digging and causing scars and such around the course. But more so with the cricket pitch and the rugby field, we're finding that we have to go through a rigorous maintenance program if we want to host a game, because the chance of players rolling their ankles or damaging themselves is quite high due to the fact that they do so much damage there. But if we could ring fence it with some gates and rabbit-proof fencing, then that would give us a better chance to at least keep the numbers in that area down through continued management. It's not that we don't put the effort in. I think we're an unsupported group in that we rely solely on volunteers, donations and sponsorships. In my tenure, I've managed to get some sponsors for each of the holes. There's 9 holes. We obviously play twice, so we've got 18 sponsors. Local businesses in the community come forward. They don't only put their name and their brand on each hole, but we use them as a resource to help us to keep the golf club functioning and running positively. For instance, Dark River service our machines for us to keep them usable and well maintained. Reed Earthworks and such. I could go on and on with all of our sponsors that support us in our endeavours, but no one is paid. We run the golf course on a budget of about $5,000 a year. Barely covers the fuel.
Last budgeted golf course in the world.
I say there's a fair chance it is, yeah. But we recently put the green fees up to $20 because we feel it's justified now. We've got the course up to a good playable standard and it's holding its own in that respect. But it is solely down to people putting themselves forward and volunteering and giving up their time to do that. We recently got some support from Delta with some tree maintenance and looking after damaged and failing trees. And that's why we're reaching out to you to see if you can support us with our ongoing maintenance and upkeep of this valuable space.
Thanks, Dan. Questions?
Right. Who owns the space?
So it's partly QLDC, the recreational side of it. Rec services cover that, but then, as I understand it, the half of which is the golf course was donated by a farmer to back into the community. So the golf course takes a lease with the rugby club and council, and then the rest of it is gifted to the community.
So okay. So but the lease doesn't cost you anything, or does it?
$1 a year if you decide to take the dollar off us. We've got a 30-year lease currently.
Have you noted the ORC sort of going to be under pest control? Have you any approach for them?
I did approach ORC last year. We didn't rank in their programme. I did have a number of meetings with the representative from ORC, put together an application regarding our management plan and how do we endeavour to, try and keep the population down. Unfortunately, we were very close to the residential, the properties and houses all around, so it's not like other golf courses in the Queenstown area that can have someone out there who wants to be managing learning. So.
You talked about green fees. Is there a membership fee for your 100-odd members?
Yes. Yeah.
So they pay a membership fee and play time, and then visitors pay $20.
Absolutely.
Okay, right. Understood.
And we have affiliated and unaffiliated.
Okay.
What we've most recently done is signed up with Futures Whakatipu, the youth programme that's run by NZ Golf. So we're one of the 4 partner clubs. There's us, Arrowtown, Frankton, Calvin Heights. That's made a huge difference because now we actually have children out playing in the course. They're getting interested in the golf as well as the rugby and the tennis and the volleyball and all the other sports out there. But that's really the future of it. And now I've got skin in the game. My boy's 2.5 now, so I want to make sure that this space is an asset for him. I want to get him involved in sports along with all his pals.
The next Ryan Fox.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions?
What was the total amount requested? Is it 20,000?
I think it was 30. Or maybe no.
It's in the seeking 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at 30,000 for the materials and the principal labour, but we would have to back it up with volunteers, and we're nowhere near the actual cost of doing it, but we wouldn't do it with volunteers at the rugby club and support of the rugby club, the community trust. So this is only part of the bigger application.
Okay. And have you talked to the parks team about the QLDC component
As far as
getting them to do it under their budget?
no, not as of yet. We do talk with rec services about managing the mowing around the place, but principally rec services only take care of the rugby courses, the rugby pitch and the cricket pitch.
Rugby and cricket.
We take care of the rest of the rest.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All good. No further questions. I tell you, both my boys have played at Glenorchy Golf Club with Futures Whakatipu. They're older now, so they don't do it anymore.
You got a call.
All good. Okay, thanks, Damien. No, well, they don't play anymore. So She's better than their old man. Okay, thanks, Danny.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hit of time a bit. Want to jump ahead, Del?
Sure, yeah.
Brilliant. Arrowtown Community Nursery, Arrowtown Shoppers.
That's the one.
Go for it, Del.
Thank you. It's nice to be back here and thanks for the opportunity to talk to you about the Arrowtown Community Nursery. As I said, Jarvina Gorton, and I'm a member of the Arrowtown Shoppers Committee who are building the nursery. Really excited to be about to start our first year of operation. It's been a little while in the planning for the nursery. The nursery will be growing the trees that we plant out in the hills around Arrowtown on our community planting days. We have applied for an operational grant for the first year costs. Estimated costs very roughly $1 per plant per year to grow. And we're hoping to get up to 11,000 plants in the nursery space, and they stay in there for 2 years before they get planted out. You might have seen, especially if you're in Arrowtown, you might have seen our planting days, beach party. They are a big community, relatively big community event. We do those twice a year, and we get if it's a sunny day, there's 150 people there, all ages. We basically get a hillside, it's a cool site. We get a hillside covered with people and covered with trees going in the ground. So far we've had 25,000 plants, trees go in the ground. We are a little further along from the project Tohu planting area. And the end goal is actually to have a conservation corridor that extends from our planting all the way around the back of the hills around Arrowtown through to Whitechapel and start to connect up all the little spaces. The great thing about having our own community nursery is that it allows us to have a secure supply of eco-sourced plants that are truly hardy to local conditions. We're also in control of the quality of the plants. The hardiness is really key. We plant out in some of the toughest conditions for plants, and plants that are grown very locally do a lot better. So it is a very key aspect for us. It also allows us to engage with a wider sector of the community. The planting days are fantastic, but there are people who would love to be involved but can't manage the hike up into the hills. So we are able to reach a wider audience, I guess. The nursery will be run by the community, and the planting of the trees is by the community. So there's a real nice life cycle there. We have interest in working in the nursery from a number of people. We are based at Tiwa Banks in the Community Housing Trust. QLDC has kindly allocated us land there for the nursery. And the initial residents who have gone in are very interested in planting, as well as what's going on in the reserve. And we have interest from the Arrowtown Lifestyle Village to have that on their activities register. We already work closely with the primary school and the Scouts for planting days, and they're interested in coming in for having an educational aspect at the nursery as well. So we see it as being a really nice community space, as well as doing awesome things for the environment and biodiversity. So as I said, we are hoping to get support for the first year's operational costs for the nursery, which is what we have applied for, but would love to answer any other questions that you might have around it.
Brilliant, Del. Well,
so would you consider yourself very similar to like Kakano and Monica? You know about
It's a very similar model.
Okay.
Yes,
So the QLDC land you're on in Tiwa Banks, do you have a lease over that? Have they got a lease arrangement, or is it just a?
it's a memorandum of understanding that we have. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things you come up with Kakano is of learning one of the big issues is the maintenance, or about planting the trees, but the maintenance. So you're on top of that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely totally key part of it. So it's about 5 years in the planting areas that we maintain.
Okay.
So yes, so that part of it is usually done by the committee.
So the committee basically works all year round.
Yep.
The volunteers for the plantings come in for those 2 key days.
Thank you.
I've got a question, but I really love the beach party days. They're
Awesome, aren't they? We have a great barbecue afterwards. So yeah, strongly encourage anyone who'd like to get their hands in the ground, come along. They're good fun.
They are.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Today, the deal is we've got roughly around 10 minutes. If you finish earlier, you'll get asked a few questions. So
Okay, all right.
it's over to you.
Thanks.
Sorry, you're here.
Fernhill.
Okay.
Association.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I've been roped in last minute.
Okay, sorry. Take your time.
So I'm just gonna read an email. I do different things in the association. So, yeah. So I guess one of the biggest things is that we would like to see some investment and some changes over in Fernhill and Sunshine Bay, in particular being the Sunshine Bay Reserve side. I guess being an older suburb, we don't have as many facilities as, say, the newer suburbs have got with their more development. So, you know, we're short public toilets, for example, just some basics like that. And so we've had a few upgrades and help from the council around like basketball courts and things like that. But we would like to see more. So yeah, we would like to, we do have funding for a pontoon, but unfortunately we can't get consent to put a pontoon in the lake at the moment because there's a lot of stakeholders who have to approve what's going on with the moorings. So one of the things is that we're focusing on the Sunshine Bay Reserve is that we would like to see a more like 5 to 10 year plan on how to improve that area. We think it's a really long-term sustainable project and that would give us something to focus on. We would like to make it a multi-use recreation area and have amenities and safe access to all areas. It's quite an uneven surface. I don't know if any of you live in the area, but it's yeah, quite all over the place. In order to work on each section below, we need to have completed a master plan that we can use to present to all stakeholders, which would be the Sunshine Bay lakefront, the grass reserved, nominated community garden area, a safe access to the lake, because there's not currently some safe access, you've got to go across the road. A master plan would allow us to work with QLDC to work with plan, and it'd also be able to use and communicate with third-party stakeholders such as NZTA in regards to, like, for example, one of the things we'd like to see is a speed reduction going through the Sunshine Bay. We walk across the road and into the lake. So that's that part of it as well. So that's kind of my documents that I have from the committee. So yeah, I guess, yeah, we would like to see, it'd be great to be able, but currently it is used quite a bit by locals. You know, you see a lot of people walking their dogs. We have our fun day there, but even our fun day sometimes can be hard because it's an uneven surface. So finding a place for people to set up on a flat surface and enjoy themselves, or have a food truck, even come in and be able to park. Musicians, they find it difficult because we don't have a flat surface. So they're just some of the things that like we are struggling with in the area. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't pick your name up.
Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah. Questions, councillors? Missed it.
Thank you for that. Just in regards to funding from our way, obviously access to your funding through the Community Association annual funding that you get from QLDC.
Yeah.
Okay. And your request is 17,000, is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
17,002. Okay. Do you? That's okay. I just wanted to confirm that, so that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a quote that supports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from a like professional landscape designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and apologies because I haven't read your whole submission yet, but just around the 17,000 for doing it? You want to do it independently of QLDC rather than have us do it, presumably speed and is there
My understanding is we've like spoken to QLDC
okay.
and we've tried finding resources within QLDC. And I'm not
Right.
sure if there are resources within QLDC. I think I have to admit, like, as I said, like I do another, I'm more like the events and fun person on the team and I organise like the fun day and the Christmas and and I'm also an accountant, so I get the money stuff, but like, I haven't been into the nitty
No,
gritty of
that's
there.
fine. Do you know if staff have been down to take a look? QLDC staff?
Yeah, we have had a meeting and they've come through and
That's great.
I know that like there is an area of the reserve that isn't almost even accessible.
Yeah.
They had to come with the garden people and chop down and make like a little bit of a pathway to get to parts of it. So there's a whole area there that people don't even know is part of the reserve that they can actually use. And on that is actually like some beautiful fruit trees and stuff like that. So we already have the start of like a community garden and things like that.
So you're talking down by the lake?
As you like, yeah, you won't.
I won't, yeah. So
You don't know where it is. The best way to describe it, I know you're from Glenorchy. Do you know where the two greenhouses sit? As you drive in, and there's two low greenhouses sitting.
I guess I should know, but I will note that down.
You'll see it once I tell you.
You drive up the road from
Yeah.
Sunshine, the Sunshine Bay
Sunshine Bay.
entrance is on the
Yeah.
left-hand side.
Yes, but it keeps going further
Yes,
down.
quite big.
It is.
I know
really
what
big.
you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
No,
It's,
I should have known anyway.
I thought everyone knew about that bit, but there's a further bit that goes down that isn't really like usable at all.
And is that all QLDC owned then?
From what I understand, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when the Parks and Recs guys came through, they were like, oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry. for that.
No, that's okay.
I'll go and check that.
So I assume then that there's no reserve management plan for it or anything?
Not, yeah. I'm not aware that there is. I know that there is a little bit around, there's some stuff going on around the vegetation plan and things like that as well.
Green network stuff.
That doesn't sound familiar, but that doesn't mean that I don't know.
Okay.
No, they were saying, I think it's something about the native. There is like a little bit of work to be done around the natives and a vegetation plan. I do know that there was some talk about that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
All good.
Thank you.
You've exhausted the questions. Thank you, Sarah. It's short notice. Thank you very much.
Well, it's really hard, that's it. Yeah. See ya.
Bye. Yeah, roughly around 10 minutes we'll take. So, and just if you talk, it's less than that, we'll ask a few questions. Brilliant. So you.
I'm Maru Santos. I've been living in Queenstown for 18 years, and I'm representing the Queenstown Association of Migrants Pinoy Incorporated. It's a Filipino communities, and it was established in 2008. So we've been running it for 17 years, and over the years, I was handling the cultural activities. And then last year, I was elected as the president. So it's quite new to me to handle all areas of the activities. So, and then over the few months, I've tried to discover what are the needs of the Filipino communities here, not only in cultural, there is also like personal training development, and then teens activities for their mental health, and also the kids from 0 to 13 years old, and also the sports. So the budget that I have presented to you is covers all those areas. And yeah, so during my leadership, I was able to give my co-Filipinos different varieties of activities. And in fact, I have still 2 left this coming weekend. It's a religious related event, and I have a big one in June. It's our first time to celebrate the Philippine Independence Day, so it's kind of a little bit big. And so far, our budget is good until June, so I'm applying from the July, like for the 2025 and 24. Yeah, so I have already I also discovered the importance of software subscription. This is a new funding because you know, when you do all the reports, we need the like MS Office, and then I integrate, since our transaction in our bank is kind of big, because we, aside from donations, we also do a lot of fundraising through barbecue selling and in markets. So a lot of transaction, and then when I try to prepare a report in Excel, it doesn't meet our needs. So I included 0 to our fundings. Yeah, so I hope with this funding that I apply will help us to you know, to run for another year, and hopefully I can train new leaders as well. Yeah, that is my vision, because I cannot be always the leader of everything for me. So I need to train new leaders and new migrants. So one of the highlights of my projects over the months, I did like instrumental guitar lesson in ukulele from 6 to 13 years old, and then since English proficiency is needed in immigration, so I started a pre-intermediate class for the new migrants, and also I joined in aside from Queenstown, we are able to promote our cultural enjoying Wanaka Festival of Color, Autumn Fest Colors. That was quite new to us, and our community are very happy with that. And of course, every year we are trying to do sports twice a year, but since we didn't have much budget, so I only did 1. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you. People good? Question? No.
Where else do you receive funding from?
So I will receive large one from New Zealand Lottery.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I received one from class for our cultural costumes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then barbecue fundraising, and also donations from a local business.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So the budget, well, I will raise like 45,000.
Do you ever collaborate with the multicultural collective?
Yes, yeah, always.
Always.
Since they started.
Oh, awesome. Good to hear.
Third year now.
Nice.
And just around like all your lessons and things that you give to people, are they do you charge as well?
No,
It's all free.
Free.
And for anyone in the Filipino community.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Oh, maybe one more question. How many people would you have sort of helped and been in contact with over the year by by all of the things that you've done, the sports, the lessons?
How many
people?
like involved?
What's How many people would have used your services?
Okay. It depends upon the budget. So, for sports, there's a lot, like,
Yeah.
I think like more than 100. For the trainings, it's 14 participants. And, also for the kids, 14 as well. And then this coming Friday, I gave this opportunity to have a bonding. So I think they will be 20 of them, like a bowling night. Yes. Like that. Yeah.
Okay, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you've got 1,300 members currently.
Not active, like in our group, but the registered one is only 250.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And are you seeing a growing population locally?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are trying to encourage the new migrants to join and be active. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I'm trying to create projects.
Thank you.
All good, Malu?
Yeah.
Madam Solomon Paul?
Maraming salamat.
Great, thank you for coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Please lead. Go for it.
Nice to see you all.
Likewise.
So today I'm wearing my Glenorchy Duck Skies hat, just to be clear, I almost wore my hat, just so everybody knew who I was today. So first of all, I wanted to say a big thank you for your support. As I think you guys all know, Glenorchy, Tahuna Glenorchy became the 4th Dark Sky Sanctuary in New Zealand, and we just did the boundaries to be 100% sure. It turns out we are the largest in New Zealand, just saying. Just saying, feel free to go brag that. Because Kaikoura previously we thought they had like 20 hectares on us, but we've reclaimed those back. So a little boundarying it. It's not my fault, it was the guy who did the GIS. Anyway.
Can you really measure it over land, or can you look at?
Land and water,
Oh, you can, of course.
yeah, so we've got this one
Yeah,
done up. Anyway, that's not why I'm here, but we're now in the next stage, so getting that designation was awesome. We have to get the Glenorchy community to be a dark sky community, because they made us carve that out of our application. It's a dark sky international thing. So this year, our focus is really, really strongly on education, which is why I'm coming to you in the hope of some support. So we've got a kind of 4-part package. The first is to develop a monthly newsletter. Glenorchy is blessed with having a weekly emailer that goes out to everybody and is connected to our website. It's got a reach of about 550 people, which is great. So we will tie our newsletter to that, and the newsletter will have what's in the night sky this month, some tips on how to reduce your own light pollution, a little bit on biodiversity, and hopefully some Madaraka knowledge for everybody to just start upskilling the whole community around what you can see when you look up. So we're going to work on that, make them graphically beautiful, and we're going to share them with Winterstellar, who are the Otago-wide organization. So we'll do the development work on that one, but the reach of it will be that they can use it as well. So hopefully Central will get the benefit of our good work on this one. Sometimes they do stuff where we're benefiting. We thought we could lead on this one. So that's to help pay for the time of somebody who's got to actually do that piece of work. It's not a small piece. The second one is to get 3 educational panels, one ideally for Bennett's Bluff, and then 2 in the community, one at the museum site and one at the walkway. And the walkway is the site of our 3rd project, which we're pretty stoked about, which is we're going to partner with the senior class at Liger Academy, where they've got a group of girls who are coders. And I just love the thought of like the coding girls. And they're going to help us develop our Tahuna Starwalker app, which is going to be an app that that helps guide you around the walkway at night and helps with a greater sense of equity, because we don't want people to feel like you can't get some guiding or that knowledge that you have to pay for that. So we thought we would do a free app for visitors. And that way, and we could work with the kids on that. They'll do the tech, we'll do the text. And it's a test case also for our fourth project, which is that this year we're keen to up our knowledge really on all things Madaraka to do with the stars, but also particularly towards the development of a star compass for Glenworthy. So it won't be this year, but we want to do the scoping for it this year. And the idea is a star compass, it's how Pacific navigators taught everybody the stars. And so they're beautiful. They look, actually this table is a perfect example of, so it's a circular thing and it's got Poe at a number of places. It's kind of on the Southern Hemisphere Stonehenge, if you want to think of it that way.
It's a big sculptural thing.
It's a big sculptural thing. So our fantasy version is that we go Glenworthy style on it, and Dan Kelly does birds for the Poe. This is next year's project. So just be thinking
You'll
about
be
it.
back next year.
This year's project, but I'm gonna get CLT and Creative New Zealand to pay for that one. You guys, you're here for the education piece where we actually get Darren to help us understand what we need to know. And there's quite a few people apparently in the district who have this knowledge, so he said he'll help organize that. And then we'll, next year, hopefully work with the Liger kids to develop an app so that when people do stand in the middle of it, you'll actually have the information that tells you what you're learning. So that was a bit of a longer term project, but we want to do the legwork for it this year, largely getting some training in this subject because we don't really know very much, and doing some scoping. So that was just the teaser for it. So we're asking for $12,800 in total to support all 4 of these pieces of the project. Can I answer any questions?
Yeah.
Madeline, then.
No, I was just gonna say, I think Lyle can navigate a boat by the stars or something.
It's really cool when you're with people who can. So, you know, that's ideally, we could all be out on the lake and knowing what we're looking at would be really cool.
With the walkway, is
Yeah.
that your current walkway?
Yes.
So that's the
lagoon walk.
lagoon walkway,
Yeah.
so then the app will kind of relate to different, oh, how
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
Because so many people, well, I would say every week I'm getting emails just to our website of people saying, is there any guiding? And we've developed a product with the headwaters, which is great. So there will be a Thursday nights family friendly night, bring up the kids, have dinner, look at the stars. I know, it's coming. So it's beginning of June, and then date nights on Saturday nights, same thing.
Good point, Glenn, for that one.
Just saying, but the project's about equity, and so that's lovely if you want to pay for that. But equally, the idea was we already have the lagoon walkway.
Yeah.
So we could turn that into such a cool opportunity for people to be able to
I don't
self-guide.
wouldn't want to fall off in the night.
No, I kind of like.
I was
the-
looking at that.
Yeah, I was thinking it could be more of a sound thing.
Yeah,
So
that would
that-
be better.
Yeah, so you could stop and listen and have some points that tell you when to stop.
Okay.
You know, so sit at the bench, have a listen.
Yeah.
What do you see above you? You know, all that kind of stuff.
There's
It's gonna be fun to develop it, actually.
second question, with regards to that app, have you talked to Gibbston Dark Skies?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're,
Oh,
you're perfect. for
Brian
that.
and I are probably in like daily contact, truthfully.
Well,
Um,
yeah, well, oh, sorry about that. then.
No, I'm just teasing, because I'm on the board of Queenstown, so.
Okay, cool, right, because then I was like, actually, if you're gonna develop it, if
Yeah.
you work with them, so they develop something similar, that would kind of be even better.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, not star related, but quite cool local app related,
Yeah.
is the arrow.
Yeah, that's where we got
Okay.
the idea.
All right, cool, okay,
Yeah.
perfect, because so Nick's also really good to talk to, is his.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
So, no, this sort of, it grew out of a conversation about that.
yeah,
And that I had been to speak at Liger, and Andrew there said, our kids develop apps, take advantage of us. I was like, absolutely. So in punishment, I had to go speak to the year 9s this week, and it brought back all my PTSD from teaching high school, I would say, all in one. What else can I answer?
I got a couple. Just the newsletter.
Yeah.
So, when I was just thinking, there will be people who will want paper copies who don't have digital. Do you think anyone will print them out and do it? Is there any sort of?
We could, so there's, my thought was, we'll create them and then print some for the restaurants and stuff. So they could be on the tables. And the other bit is that in summer, they'll go to the dock huts as well. So the idea is to kind of get some collateral out, but within the community, most households, but I mean.
No, I totally agree with
Yeah.
you. It's just a few that we've been missing and we will
Yeah.
hear from.
Yeah,
Monday.
most of them seem to have someone in their household who
Yeah, okay.
prints.
And the other one on there was just around how far that newsletter spreads, and it's not a big deal, right? Because this is just having an email list, but I just thought, you know, if the community's paying, the rest of the community would probably be really interested, like if it just goes on ours, why not send it to Fernhill?
Okay,
Kingston?
Nikki, I've got one question, we're just short of time.
Oh,
so-
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
Everywhere, like.
We're happy because that's why we're pipelining it through
Yeah.
Winterstellar, and Winterstellar is broader.
Via online scuttlebutt?
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
scuttlebutt anymore, but
whatever it's called now.
yeah.
You mentioned that the community has to be a dark sky community.
Yeah.
That's probably a really big question, but what do you actually mean by that?
So it's a different designation than sanctuary, so we have to carve the township off. And it actually, in some ways, is easier because the lighting regulations are more for a town than for a sanctuary.
That's what you're getting at.
So we're gonna work on that
And
application.
so the education around that, even though it's outside of the sanctuary, that you will obviously want to improve darker lighting in the community itself.
Yes, yeah, so that's the next stage of this. So this is the education piece where people go, oh, you mean if I actually close my curtains and turn down my lights, this will be better.
Yeah.
So we're doing this as one piece of the education, the other is a biodiversity piece.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna be doing moth monitoring, bat monitoring, and then getting people to start planting dark sky friendly plants.
cool.
And then
Awesome.
we're gonna tie the two together, so the data set will show that as the lights went down, the biodiversity goes up. So we'll have both pieces going, but I'm not asking you guys to pay for that part, that's love Queenstown stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie. Brilliant.
Nice
Good to see you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon in some other time.
Jules. Touch it.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat to you all.
Let's see, you know, get a seat.
Yeah. For those who don't know me, I'm Jules Tapper and I'm one of the founders of the Lakes District Air Rescue Trust. 34 years ago we started and I'm still involved. Basically, we ran the operation for the first 28 years. And then of course, Heli Otago and up in Christchurch, the operator up there have got together as a single contract now for the South Island, whereas before there used to be just a local area and we were using local helicopters. So that's how it started off. Now we are the outfit that's providing some of the funding to keep that service running because it's never ever been fully funded by the government. And a lot of people don't realise that. The shortfall in this region, and it's hard, it's not hard, it's shared between the Otago Trust and Eden and ourselves, is about 1.4 million a year. So it's quite a lot of money. The application we've made here today is for a automatic CPR machine. Now, a little bit of background is quite interesting. A very prominent businessman in this town collapsed in town with a heart attack. They managed to stabilise him, got him out to the hospital, he collapsed again, they got him stabilised. Then they thought they could get him in a helicopter down to Dunedin. He collapsed opposite, on board the machine, opposite Roxburgh. And one of the paramedics had to do CPR, which is 100 strokes a minute, for another 25 minutes. Absolutely exhausting to keep him alive. And it just so happened when I heard about this incident and the tremendous efforts from this young paramedic, I just read an article in a German magazine, an aeromedical magazine, about this thing. It looks like a vertical drill press. It goes when the patient is on the stretcher, goes underneath the back and comes up over the top. And it's got like a little where the drill would normally be if you're doing a drill press. It's got a pulsator, and you put that on the chest, and you set it. It's got various settings you have to have. You can use it from babies right up to big, huge people. And I said to Graham Gale, the operator, I said, let's get one for Dunedin and one for Queenstown. I said, we can't have this sort of thing going on. That was very, very lucky that that gentleman's still alive. So we did. And within 1 week of us having that CPR machine on board, we saved another life. So I felt very justified. Now, in those days, there was only one helicopter based here, and we were doing 500 to 700 missions out of here a year. We did 1,107 out of here last year. The second machine does not have a heart thumper on board. And what we've done here, I've just got the latest quote from Graham Gale on when we bought the first one, it was 30,000 plus GST. It's now gone up to 33, so it's 38,000 now. Cognizant of the fact that there are other very deserving outfits around this town that have got wanting a bit of access to this little bit of money that we've got available, we're not asking for a full amount of money. We're asking if you could help us out to the tune of 15,000 plus just towards the cost of this machine, which is going to cost us $38,000. 38,447 is the latest quote, actually. So it's a much bigger operation than what we had before. The requirements and what they can do now is so much better than what it is. It's a 24-hour service, twin engine, all-weather operation. We've now got low-level IFR routes, which no one else in the country has. They cost Graham Gale and the two trusts just on $3 million to establish those routes. And Graham tells me that on the route between Dunedin and Invercargill, for example, he's now flown in this last year about 100 routes that you normally wouldn't have been able to fly with it. So it's a very sophisticated, cutting-edge service that we've got in this area, and something we can be proud of. If you can assist us with this piece of equipment, that'll be one of them.
Oh, Jules, questions? Cody and then Paul.
Just to clarify, if I pull a PLB in the backcountry, are you guys coming to get me? Is that the service?
We would have some.
Sorry, if I pull the personal locator beacon out
yes,
the backcountry,
it goes into the RCC,
yeah,
the Rescue Coordination Centre.
Yeah,
that beacon is registered to a given person's name. They ring those contact numbers and say, "It's Jimmy Smith. Is he out in the bush somewhere?" And he says, "Oh, well, his beacon's just gone off. Well, you better go and get him." So that's how it works. And of course, it's got a locator access into it. And the boys are normally, now this is the interesting thing. Last year, their average time from getting the call to say that Jimmy Smith's somewhere out in the scrub, and this is the coordinates for him, 7 minutes from the time they got the call to the time they're airborne. That's their average.
Wow.
So that's phenomenal.
Wow.
We're very lucky about the service that we've got.
Yeah, incredible. Thank you.
Just a quick one there. I understand you said all this up. The trust, the main role of the trust now is to do
It's
things.
a fundraiser only. Yes, all that we donated all our original equipment to Graham Gale. That was part of our original setup. And all we do now is go around and I'm wrapping the tin. That's my job now is to, as I said, we can get a few dollars.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Excuse my ignorance. What area does the?
We don't actually say where the machines go to, but generally speaking,
Okay.
Graham Gale's operation is from, if you took a line from Haast across to Oamaru, everything south of that line, right down to the Auckland Islands, is done by Heli-Otago. Everything north is done by Garden City helicopters. That's the South Island.
So it's 2 helicopters for that area.
There's 2 helicopters based here and 4 in Dunedin.
Okay.
And they've got, I think, 5 in the northern part of South Island. See, the operation now has got IFR instrument flight operations, which never had before, and they're operating at night. And they'll go in the old days, we couldn't, it was a bit minimal, even though the guys knew the area. So to answer your question, basically, some of the guys are doing missions at Mount Cook at night, but they did one a wee while ago, 12, right at the peak, in a 50-knot wind, and they had to winch 2 guys. Now that's phenomenal.
And all of those helicopters.
That
can
came
do
from here.
All of the helicopters in that area can do that?
No, well, basically, as I say, there's three on full time, and one is available if necessary when something's out on maintenance down to the need, and 2 here. And when you dial 111, just so you understand how it works, because a lot of people don't realise this. Don't muck around and go dial 111, and they'll say fire ambulance or police. You say ambulance, you get onto ambulance control, which is in Auckland, unfortunately. But never mind, they say, what's the nature of the emergency? And they have a little list that they go through, and they establish very, very quickly whether a helicopter is necessary. And they then get that detail and send it on to the helicopter operator in the area. And sometimes there might be more than 1 helicopter leaving. So like that road accident down there, they had the 4 from Dunedin and 3 from here, 3 from here. So they had 6 helicopters down there. So that's depending on the call out agency. Yeah. We have nothing to do with that.
Just a quick question. Could you remind us, I think last year, we gave funding over 3 years.
Well, basically, we have a basic commitment to Heli Otago, and you are contributing to that in the order of 50,000 a year.
That's
Now,
right, for 3 years.
yeah, that's covering like some of the things that just recently where money has gone is the new helipad, concrete helipad, lit helipad at the hospital.
Yeah.
There's a 1 heart thumper. We had a what do you call it, machine that they have above the monitoring machine that's got all the whistles and bells on it, which is above the patient on the shop. We bought one of those just recently, $58,000.
Okay.
So this equipment always coming up along the way. Now, one of the funny things in the contract is if you've got X number of people and new people come along and have to be trained, that's not covered in the contract. And so the community is expected to pick that up.
Yeah.
So there's some oddball clauses in the contract, but it's a nationwide thing, so I've got no say in that. And we are very, very slim. We don't have full-time employees, and my back offices are buildings really, so we're very slim. The money comes in and goes out for the best cause.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jules.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Oh,
man.
good.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wish you well too. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing on the media, I've been away for a while, came back, I couldn't believe what I read.
Yes. Okay, Presbyterian support, Ruth Wilson, Jody Ryan. Ruth Journey,
Sorry?
This,
Family Works Presbyterian
Yeah.
support, yeah.
who do we have here?
Jody, I'm
Jody,
Jody
yeah.
Ryan, yeah, so normally you wouldn't have,
Right.
but I'm a frontline social worker. So you've got me today as the person that does the role and make it. So basically, she just wanted me to come here and tell you what's going on. So I'm a frontline social worker. I sometimes work in Queenstown, but your baseline social worker here is Emily Davis, and she's been in the community for 6 years. She is funded by a Rangatamariki contract. So in order to get money for Queenstown, for her to be a social worker, it has to be funded by a Rangatamariki, which is relatively scarce now. A day's in a social worker's life is I work. Family Works is very different in the way that we fit the client. The client doesn't have to fit us. So we work from the cradle to the grave, and we work with anybody who wants to work with us. We're a non-statutory organisation, meaning that we don't have powers to make somebody work with us. I mean, a normal week can be like me. I've worked with somebody that was going to commit suicide, to maybe someone with behavioural problems, dealing with mental health, dealing with a wee baby that has cancer and trying to get it that mum doesn't have to drive from Dunedin all the time for the treatment. So really we just advocate and work alongside the person. So is there anything else you'd like to know about me?
We have asked a few questions if the councillors have questions. Questions, councillors? Going on.
Sorry, you just clarify then, where does all the funding come from, all the activity?
Rangatamariki is we have the social worker here. Emily's actually meant to work from Alex, but she comes back here to work because we work with, because she lives in the area and she works here. The funding often comes from bequests. So that's how we work a lot with a lot of that money. Yeah.
Thanks.
So there's 20,000 being stored. Does that actually cover the excess from what's currently funded, or do you still have to go out for more?
So I think it's a starting point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like it's starting for Emily to be. I mean, she does do the work here anyway, but I guess it's just supporting her role here to keep her doing it. And like if I come across as well, you know, like if she goes on leave, I can support the travelling and the hours involved in it. Like this week I've done Alex, Monica, and and Roxburgh. I go as far as Roxburgh and Omakau.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, this might sound awful, but with the funding that comes from here, would it be ring fenced for Queenstown?
Yes, that's what just checking us seeking. Yeah, it won't be going into the big pool. It's actually I mean, Emily doesn't even have an office here at the moment. She works out of her car. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's.
So she would just meet people at homes and it would cover all her.
We're home based, but really we meet where the person is comfortable, and that may be in our office. They might kind of go, we don't know you well, we don't want you coming to home. So you meet where because we're strength based, and we try to encourage people to feel safe and secure.
Do you work with family links services?
Yes, we do. We do with the family harm.
Yes, well, just in terms of people in place, but do you use their facilities?
Emily doesn't seem to use that. I mean, she really probably needs her own office where she can hold files and things that she normally has like that. I think they're all held over at Alex, but she doesn't have a base here at the moment. Normally when you're working, you have your own base where you can set it up comfortably for people to come.
How many days a week would she be here?
She's here full time. Oh, she travels to Alex.
In Queenstown, no.
Well, she starts every day here.
Okay.
Sometimes because our supervisor is based in Alex, so there's often team meetings and often she Zooms in, but she's here most days.
Okay, sorry, just trying to understand.
Yeah, and also she travels to Cromwell. Basically her area is at the moment is Cromwell and Alex, but she does here because this is where she's actually based. And also she has a rangatamariki contract, and we don't turn people away. We don't say, because we always work from the point of view that we are holistic and we take in anybody. If you come to us and say we need help, we will work with you. We won't go, oh no, we don't go there or we don't do that. Like I cover Ranfurly at times, but that's actually not in my catchment area. So if there's a family that is hungry or struggling or a mum that needs support, I will go to Ranfurly.
Thank you.
That's right.
No further questions. Thank you, Jodie. Thanks for taking time.
Thanks for that.
Likewise. And Christine, I know you've just sat down.
Yes.
But if you're available to start now.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. So usual, it's about 10 minutes, but if you're within the 10, we'll ask a few questions.
All right.
That's up to you, really.
Okay.
Take it away.
Well, thank you very much. So first of all, there are some familiar faces around the table that I haven't met, but I'm Christine from the Aspen Institute New Zealand. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to apply for funding from the council, because I know it is very, very hard to make these decisions. And the funds are scarce, so they've got to be used well. So first of all, I felt I would position the Institute, because some of you may not be familiar how it started and our links with our parent organisation in the US. The Aspen Institute was started in 1947. It was started in Aspen, Colorado, hence the interest in this community being the sister city. And it was all about people coming together to leave their baggage behind and progress the big issues of the time. And they were not just Americans, they were international. Over the years, it spawned arts communities, physics, all sorts of other community programs. And I'm not quite certain when it happened, but it shifted its head office to Washington, DC, where it has now a budget of $750 million. It's all generated from philanthropy, from donations, and some revenue earning positions. Today, they use Aspen, Colorado as its base for its summer and winter activities, from Socrates forums to the Aspen Ideas Festival. It has made that place a thriving community. I became interested in when I moved back to New Zealand full time and moved into Queenstown and wondered what would be suitable for Queenstown, what sort of benefit. And I felt that the Aspen Institute offered a tremendous variety of connections with the world, not just America, but also huge insights and I think information and connections that would really benefit New Zealand on a number of fronts, from environment to geopolitics, to science, to social media, all these sorts of things. So we set up and became one of the successful applicants. There are many applicants to become a partner of the Institute.
And we, with the support of QLDC, I think we received $25,000 for our grant at that time in 2018. And with many other generous donations, we were started up the 14th partner of the Aspen Institute. And this is where it's really interesting. The international network is independent of the US. We support its mission, which is all about a free, just, and equitable society. And we fund ourselves, and we're independently organized. And I think that's the great thing. I guess what I really searched for in the US was when I looked at it and I said, what's it really going to do for New Zealand? I looked at it and I just couldn't find rhyme or reason to their structure. And then when I spoke with them, they said, we're a very entrepreneurial organization. We leave our programs and our partners to do what they feel is best for their communities. And then I stopped searching for some of for those answers anymore, because that was sufficient. And when I look at the partners, they each have their own characters. We have a partner in Kiev, Ukraine, for example. They're all about democracy and preserving what democracy had, and you can imagine what that's like. Here in New Zealand, we've tried to adopt an approach, a broader approach, and we focus on 3 areas: global affairs, 2, critical thinking or critical conversations, and 3, connected communities. They can overlap, sort of thing, but let's say global affairs. In October, we're teaming up with the University of Otago to hold and expand their national security school. So it's going to be a one-day forum. The theme this year is about Australia-New Zealand ties. It's going to be Australians over here holding at Ridges. We've done a lot of work with our partner in India over the past year. So that's global affairs. Then we have the critical conversations. This is all about upskilling managers, leaders, potential leaders, kids, so they equip them with the ability to critical thinking and navigate change in that area. So, for example, we have in-depth thinking on different topics. So in December, we have the head of the digital program from Aspen Institute coming out, and she's with Socrates Seminar. We're running that here in Queenstown. That's all about, will we ever trust the news again? So that's a pretty topical issue. And then the third area, which is about this area here, was connected communities. And this is really a big theme amongst the Institute. In Aspen, Colorado, the Aspen Institute has a life of its own. It runs huge array of programs, speakers. They've just put out the speakers program for the summer, etc. And we've had the good fortune of being the sister city with Aspen, that we've been wanting to step up and bring this to the community. So we've been running these sister city conversations. And each one I've done, but I have to say, I've really, really enjoyed them. And I think our audiences and the group's community has enjoyed them. And what made them different? They were civil. They brought different voices to the table, like Ben Farrell, who can be quite a divisive character in this community, but that's the essence of the conversation. It brings different points of view across, by the way. And that's what our request is from the council, is to help us build our Connected Community program. And we'd be very grateful if you were able to support us in some way.
Okay, Cody, and then Mel, Esther.
Are you planning to do anything over the hill in the Upper Clifton? By chance?
Can you repeat that?
Are you planning to do any events in Wanaka?
We can easily do events in Wanaka. So we're based in Queenstown, but we are a national organisation.
Yeah.
One of our limitations for, one of the reasons why I say for like the Socrates Seminar, we need to be proximity to the airport because say a third of the people will come from here and then 2/3 will come from elsewhere. But in terms of forums such as the international series we ran in February, where we had talked about global politics, India politics. We held it at Te Atamira. That sort of thing, local, we can definitely hold it in different places.
How many staff do you have?
I have 2 contractors,
Yep.
Pip Sunis and Melanie Seafort, who's just joined as our corporate partners manager. I'm the only one full time.
Thank you. Obviously, we have a lot of people coming for funding, and equity is something we have to consider.
Yes.
The organisation is super worthwhile, but I wonder if it's more privileged kind of opportunities for more privileged people. Have you got an answer around, you know, do we think about Indigenous initiatives in the programmes that you've got? Do we consider marginalised people, etc.?
So it's always at the forefront of our mind as to how to make this accessible. People do self-select if they want to participate in some ways. They've got to be interested in the topic. They've got to be interested in perhaps progressing, learning more about a topic, etc. But we also want to inspire them to come along, and we see that really is important, particularly at the school kids level. We have personally have funded the many scholarships to attend our seminars. So they can be worth $3,000 to $5,000 in terms of the tuition and accommodation and all those sorts of things. And so we get people to apply. So we try and open it up that way. But within the institute itself has a really big theme about getting the younger generation involved. And we've also sent New Zealanders in their 20s and 30s from here to global change makers in Poland last year, the year before. It was in Berlin. These are all expenses paid, scholarships that come from the institute, not from Aspen, New Zealand, but from the institute. So we also work very hard with the local iwi, and Mike Riwi has attended our last seminar. So yeah, it's
Thank you.
Pretty constant in our mind.
Thank you, Christine.
That's it.
2 minutes.
Okay,
Brilliant.
great.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I don't see Lindsay in for the alpine ski team. Kit, are you happy to come up, Billy?
Sure.
Thank you. Again, you can bring them up. It's
He's happy for now.
happy for now.
Yeah.
Again, 10 minutes. If you're finished early, we'll ask a couple of questions. Go ahead.
Thank you. Really good thanks. I'm Catherine Bartlett. I wanted to introduce our Central Lakes Breastfeeding Charitable Trust and a new programme that we're getting off the ground in Queenstown at the moment. And I brought my good friend and peer supporter Eileen along, and she'll just share something afterwards when I've introduced what it is. I appreciate that you will have read hopefully the application, and so to reiterate, I don't want to go on too much about that, but to explain how, or help understand that it takes a village to raise a baby, to raise a child, and it takes a village to nurture a new mother. And at the moment in our community, we don't have enough opportunities for whānau to start to build their village before their baby is born, to learn and understand about who's available, what help they might need, and how they can engage with that once their baby is born. So it's taken quite a few years to develop this particular programme, which is quite, on the surface, I appreciate that it might look quite similar to others that are already there, but it's really been in response to what whānau have told us that they're not getting, and they haven't been for a number of years. And hence the two main foci, which are breastfeeding and pregnancy strong, but also to couple that's kind of that health focus, but it's almost a conduit for us to help build that village, to start building their village and learn to trust who's available to help them, and to put them into touch, whether or not it's experts or whether or not it's community providers.
in a way that is on their terms rather than via either a referral process or a selection criteria or meeting anybody else's criteria. But for them, and you've drawn a picture. I think that's wonderful. And I so we're asking for project funding to get it off the ground to help build this village. Here, I'll pass it, Illy, if you're happy to talk, just yet.
Yes, briefly. Good morning. I am Illy. I'm one of the peer supporters, but while working with Catkin. This Nurture Mama, I think why it would benefit myself to start, because when I did it online, and now having it in person, it would mean that I'm able to create my own village prior to the birth, I would say. Having it online, yeah, the information was there, but it was done differently because it was done by a lactation consultant, whereby now with Nurture Mama, it's done by a peer supporter. So you meet at a different level and you connect better. And having it in person where my partner and a birth partner will be able to attend would mean that they're able to relate with other parents that's going through the same stage as well. Being in Queenstown, most of us are expats or our immediate family is not here. So having this being done here would mean so much. I personally found my village after the birth, which was a little bit of a struggle because I had to go out more. Meant I had to go out more having a newborn just to meet people rather than having had that. I would have probably met the same moms with the same due date. So the kids would have, been at the same stage. That's what I think is the most beneficial of having this in person.
All good. Questions, councillors?
Yeah, lots sort of. So just so you know, we haven't received the full application. So yes, so normally we would have had all the stuff and read it all, and we did get it a couple of nights ago, but it's in lots of folders. So just wanted to say that, but if there's any more that you want to provide about the specifics and detail, how it works, and maybe how it's different for a blanket scenario or anything else, feel free to use this time to do that, because don't assume anything other than read it in depth.
Thank you. Yes, it's a session, one annual that will happen. It happens in the evenings. There's one for Pregnancy Strong, which is with a specialist women's physio, and then one the next month is for breastfeeding information sessions. And at the Pregnancy Strong, there's an opportunity to learn about musculoskeletal function and well-being in pregnancy and birth and afterwards. And then an opportunity for screening with a specialist physio, and then an idea of where to go to get help afterwards. So there are different opportunities, and there's a lot of money, and it's really quite overwhelming for whānau to sort of figure out where that help is available, but also what they can do to protect themselves and their own pelvis in pregnancy and birth and beyond. So that's the Pregnancy Strong focus, and what we know. And what I see in the work with Central Breastfeeding Trust and coordinating the breastfeeding peer support service is there's in the rate of the association with mental health challenges and pregnancy and birth trauma is really well established, which then affects how mums go out immediately after their baby's born, and sometimes for years afterwards as well, if they don't know how to get the help that they need. And I don't want to talk too much about sort of the health outcomes. We have lots of, we have started negotiations with ACC to provide longer term funding and health, but we're looking at it from that community perspective, helping people engage with their community, but using the conduit of Pregnancy Strong and the breastfeeding information sessions. And then for the breastfeeding information session, we hear time and time again, I wish I'd known that in pregnancy. I wish I'd had an opportunity, and it's meeting the people and learning to figuring out who you're going to trust to help you when you're in your most vulnerable state, an experience of your life, having that opportunity to build that relationship beforehand is quite profound and really quite precious. So that it is quite, and it's in response to our community. We're not there to meet any healthcare outcomes. We're there to create a forum and an opportunity for whānau to meet, and that's where the big difference is with these outcomes.
Thank you. It's awesome. I wish that I'd had it. Yeah, 10 years ago. So you're seeking 5,000 for the specific to the Nurture Mama project.
Yeah.
Presumably it costs more than that.
It does. We've had some seed funding
Right.
that sort of helped get it pilot, if you like, off the ground and to give us the evidence that we know of what can work.
Yeah.
And we're also building on the work that Cora did. She did some work with the Pregnancy Strong a couple of years ago. And she's been continuing that. She's got quite a lot of evidence to show how effective that is. We're really good at, living off the smell of an oily rag.
Yeah.
We appreciate our volunteers, but we do also, those that we are asking to provide their expertise, we contract that for. We have applied for other grants with Airport QN and Community Trust Southland as well. And if we want to get this off the ground this year, and we have a great relationship with Central Lakes Trust as well. We fund a lot of the breastfeeding, we support some of that, and Well South fund some of that as well. So we're quite keen to figure out exactly how we can run it, get it off the ground so that we can then seek sustainable funding for it to endure and have a really good idea.
Okay, thank you.
And just one more, if I can.
Real quick,
Yeah, getting it out there, in terms of how the message gets out so people know that the service is available.
Well, this is big. I've become a convert to humanities, which has been great because it's free. It doesn't cost us anything, and we've had some great support from a designer to design all of the pages and posters. And so the advertising, I think, is going to cost us a lot less than we thought. And our Facebook page, our Mums for Mums Facebook page, has over 100,000 views every year, and it was amazing. The first pilot one that we did for Pregnancy Strong in March, we made it live. It went live a week beforehand, and we had 9 registrations within a week. And already that we can ask where they found it out from. It's from all different places, and we even done a bit of work with the Alpine Aqualand and this swim with them, and already she'd seen it on Instagram and was asking about it. So it's been the word of mouth, but social media does work quite well for us for these things, and we have some quite strict protocols for our social media page. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't catch the name of the young ones. But who do we have here?
Isaac and Noah.
Isaac and Noah.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
No, it looks like we could not.
Right. No Lindsay yet. Oh, Lindsay, brilliant. Okay, Lindsay. Alpine ski team?
Yes.
Brilliant. 15 minutes. It's over to you. That includes question time. So
Amazing. Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Queenstown Alpine ski team. And thought this was a really great opportunity to just share a little bit about what we're up to. We've been around for quite a long time. I think 1998 we registered as a society, so we've been here for a little while. And as such, we've been very lucky to be a part of the community and part of so many families in the community's sort of childhood upbringing. We've sort of grown and shrunk over the years, and at the moment we are about 140 athletes projected for the season to come, which makes us New Zealand's largest ski team, which is pretty exciting. The majority of those athletes are Queenstown locals, which is, I think, the biggest piece of our puzzle. We have a great group of kids that also come down from outside of Queenstown, but being Queenstown Alpine ski team, we have a majority of us being locals. And I think there's a bit of a misconception out there that
everyone who skis can just afford to spend a lot of money on skiing. That's really something that we're trying to break down some of those perceptions, that we work really hard bringing in granting funding and fundraising to help keep the ski team as affordable as possible for every kid who wants to push and pursue their skiing dreams. And our main objective is to really say we want to help encourage all New Zealand kids to have a lot of fun skiing, and then to be able to give them a pathway to take that wherever it might go. For some kids, that just means, you know, a bit better technical skiing for a few years. And for other kids, that means becoming someone like Alex Robinson, who was placed second in the world this year. She started out as a lost kid, which is pretty cool. So we have kids from U6, which is, I think our youngest kid is about 5, all the way up through Alice Robinson as sort of the other end of the spectrum, doing all sorts of alpine skiing to whatever ability they want. And so our, obviously that's a lot of kids, and that's a lot of different technical abilities, and trying to manage all of that across means we have, during the ski season, we have 18 coaches and groups of kids all over both mountains, both Remarks and Cornet Peak. And then we have 2 staff who are with us full time, and then another committee of sort of 10 or so. And so as we're working through budgeting, we're obviously, there's a family contribution, and then we try and subsidize that to bring in extra support, and to pay for things like finding our coaches every year, and visas, and all of those sorts of carry on, and extra programs like sports nutritionists and sports psychologists to help our kids' well-being, make sure that they're learning how to be sportsmen on the fields at every level that they might be accessing. So yeah, so that's what we're sort of working through this year. We always have a big budget to work through all of these things, and anytime we can request extra funding to help keep those fees down as low as possible for families is what we try to work through.
Questions, councillors? Arista?
So you mentioned that there's a subsidised rate. Is the actual fee for families a flat rate, like it's the same cost for every family?
It varies by age. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, the youngest kids have the lowest rate. And then as they spend more time on the mountain, the fees increase.
Okay, so I guess what I was wondering there is if there's any kind of Robin Hood kind of equity kind of system whereby families that can't afford it
means to
can be.
Yeah. Well, we don't.
Well, a bit more stealth than means testing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we don't at the moment. We have on a case-by-case basis, if we have families who are struggling to meet it, then they come to us and we can work through either payment plans or subsidies or scholarships or things like that. We found it on the other side of the spectrum as well, as there are families who can afford to donate more, and they do. So that's really nice when that happens, so that we can help to subsidize the other families who maybe can't. But every time we can, try and lower the costs, we try and make that across the board for everyone, to try and ensure that everyone has the ability to.
That was my,
Okay.
Is there a similar type team or activity in Wanaka side? This is, we're district wide, so you.
Yeah, we do have, there is a Wanaka ski team as well. It's not we are a not-for-profit incorporated society. The Wanaka ski team is run by Real NZ. So they kind of operate in a different realm. By Real NZ.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually, the Wanaka side has a different sort of situation this year. They have a new coach in, so I think they've kind of really dwindled their numbers, and they're trying to rebuild on the Wanaka side. So it's not quite the same system on that side of the hill. However, that being said, it's very important. We feel very important from a cost side of things that the Wanaka ski team is there, because it's a really good opportunity for sort of that competitive nature, and to give kids the opportunity to ski on different ski hills. So we, as a ski community, we work with all of the ski teams. You'll often find the Northern ski team comes down here for some skiing over the school holidays, and that kind of thing as well. So there's there is a real value for us in having that Wanaka ski team, but they're not, we have Wanaka kids who come over and ski with us, and then there are Wanaka kids that ski.
But the ski field operators, owners provide much support for this?
Yeah, we work really closely with NZ Ski. So we, as part of what we do in order to subsidize the cost of some of the race training lanes, we work with NZ Ski and we provide from the families within cost, we provide all of the volunteers for all of the races that are run up there. So that might be for races that are international races, like the FIS races that come from overseas. The cost team provides all of the volunteers to make sure that those races run all across the whole season. So yeah, it's a good partnership we have with these guys.
So you don't need to pay anything for the.
We do pay some, but we pay some, but we've been able to work through a sort of an agreement where we get some of our training is free and or not free, but it's volunteer subsidized, and some of it is extra, depending on how much you need.
What is the yearly fee or seasonal fee for?
Yeah, so it varies by age group. And so, yeah, so it can be between 3,000 and 7,000 a season.
Oh, right.
Per athlete.
Okay.
If you could, yeah.
One last question. It says that the team consists of local and national. What's the split of the current 140 athletes between national and local?
Yeah, we have about 25% who are not Queenstown based,
okay.
But many of those athletes come for the whole season. So they will come down year upon year. They might live in Auckland full time, but then they come for the season and they stay enroll in school here. And so it's kind of a mixed number. There's a handful of internationals as well that come in.
But about 75%.
Yeah, local.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Right, we've got Kevin Marlowe next for the four-wheel drive club. And Neve, Headline Trust. Salvation Army. Who's in? And figure skating. Marion's here for. Is Neve coming? All right, I'm just waiting for Neve. Yeah. Thanks, Marion. Kevin, is it?
Oh, it is.
It is. Brilliant. Sorry?
Up next and early.
Oh, you're running out of time. It's quite good.
Brilliant.
Yep. So, when you're ready, 10 minutes. That includes, if you finish before 10 minutes, we'll ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Brilliant. I'll definitely be finished before 10 minutes. So,
Okay, take it away.
Appreciate your time. Well, thanks very much for the opportunity to come and speak with you. So this community grant application is to support a community-led project to deliver a sustainable managed access solution that will ensure enduring access over Macetown Road to the historic reserve area and its environs for generations to come. So I represent the Mahu Whenua Access Advisory Group. You'll be familiar with that as a partner for council with the magic list of significant traps and network around the region. I'm the project lead to implement a managed access system. So what we've proposed is a locked vehicle gate and cyclist squeeze barrier, an online fee-based permit system and a CCTV camera system at the site. Formal easements registered over property titles and Crown River vet parcels, and QLDC has separately agreed to progress those easements. And an ongoing annual work program, including regular track maintenance and assessments and safety improvements. I'd like to provide some context for this. I'm sure some of you are aware of it, but it's important to reflect on some of the history and how we got to this point. So Macetown Road's been a public access issue for well over 100 years. An informal road was first developed in 1862 following the discovery of gold in the Arrow River, 1881, the government agreed to help locals to fund the building of the road pound for pound, and that road was completed in 1884. In 1885, the government promptly advised the county council at the time, if it didn't take over Maystown Road, they wouldn't give you any more funding for other roads. So she said, well, okay, we'll do it. So that's kind of, we're not here trying to bully you as they did, but we appreciate the history with it. So council took over the road. 1892, it temporarily stopped maintaining the road, so there's a big history there. And then in 1932, there was a major slip at Britannia Hill, and the council actually and its work gang repaired that large slip. But despite, and that's continued pretty much to this day with support from QLDC. But despite the various investments by government and council, Maystown Road's never been gazetted as a legal road. And it doesn't give access to any particular council properties or assets other than the heritage features. But there's legislation that requires local bodies to identify and protect heritage features or archaeological sites. And so Heritage New Zealand has identified 29 separate sites around the area over Maystown Road or access through it. QLDC itself has identified the entire length of Maystown Road and other sites along it as listed heritage features in your operative district plan. And in the 1960s, that was the first start to use of tourism. So we've seen that with horse riding and tractor-driven tourism operations, and it still goes today. Obviously, nomad safaris and others in them. So there's 18 other user groups though, rather than just the tourists. So we've got property owners, mining claims holders, stakeholders representing various people, recreation and sports clubs, community-led volunteer services like Pest Free Arrowtown, etc., wild and pine groups. We've got infrastructure and rescue services, search and rescue and police, and major sports events. The history has a way of repeating itself. So QLDC has had to prioritise rating funds quite appropriately in tight economic times, and is no longer funding direct repairs and maintenance for Maystown Road. But as a result, there's a risk that iconic road will become unusable and inaccessible to many user groups. So this would have a significant negative impact on our community, many other user groups, visitors, and also contributions to the Queenstown economy. So as a group, we've consulted widely with a number of other community groups and national organisation, and our proposal incorporates 14 letters of support attached to that proposal. We haven't received any negative feedback from consultation suggesting that we shouldn't go ahead, other than support to proceed. We also believe our proposal will manage significant public expectations that are already on QLDC to maintain and repair that road. So other than that, we will deliver enduring outcomes, including continuing accessibility to those open spaces, walking tracks, cycling trails, unrestricted free access for horse riders, walkers, cyclists, etc. And all current user groups will be able to access it for generations to come. We'll also deliver improved protection of the unique cultural, heritage and environmental sites in the area, as well as providing an annual work program where the tracks are well managed and maintained. So to achieve these outcomes, we need some assistance with funding, as everybody does, and I know you've got numerous funding applications to consider. So our implementation costs to deliver this are estimated at over 75,000, excluding GST. So we're asking QLDC for just over 7,000, less than 10% of those costs. The bulk of the remainder has already been committed by mainly our own groups, as well as we've got a couple of other funding applications in. But with your support, we'll be able to commence the project to ensure access over Maystown Road will continue for future generations. So we believe it's a very modest investment for QLDC, but also where, of course, you've got restricted funds available. But this investment will provide direct benefits to the local community organisations, your ratepayers and local residents and visitors to this iconic heritage area. That's the context, and I'm happy with any questions.
Yes, through them now.
Thank you. Just for my understanding, with regards to the gate and who actually gets access and who doesn't? How does that work?
So the online.
Is it only the user groups that?
No, no, not at all. It's
okay.
completely open to everybody. So that the importance of the gate is to restrict overuse, which is causing additional deterioration and then cause more problems to maintain. So there's an online permit system. So all the walkers, cyclists, horse riders will have free access, walkers and cyclists through the street barrier. Horse riding communities will be given the code to the gate through access through the sports clubs. And we'll ensure that then there's an online permit system to manage the rest. We expect some contribution from tourism operators, but individuals using vehicles will limit the number of vehicles going through, and there'll be a fee-based permit, which is automatically produced without human intervention, allowing them to continue. But we'll be gathering email addresses, driver's license and registration vehicles, so that if we have issues that we're able to clamp down quickly on them. But we want to keep access for everybody, but there'll be, local residents will have a very discounted access.
Yeah.
Who will manage that online system and who will get the, I mean, I guess that will be, the idea is to self-fund.
Yes.
Okay, but who will manage that? Is that the club?
Yeah, so the club will be managing it locally.
Yeah.
So we've been involved and first incorporated in 2006 and continuously running. We're supported by the New Zealand Four-Wheel Drive Association, a national body which has been around for many years and with strong membership throughout the country. They've given us amazing support and they're funding the actual development of the online permit system itself, fully funding that, and that's about $30,000 contribution.
Is there somewhere else in New Zealand that this is worked, or this is the first one?
This is similar to some, so DOC, for instance, have it at many of their tracks like Mavora Lakes as an example, and they have in other places like Cluden through to Linda's Pass. And you go online, you get a permit, but it's not fee-based. The likes of Remarkables Park have a fee-based gate barrier. This gate will be in a remote area, so it requires some security as well. So that's why we've got looking for a camera system to assist with providing that security. So the national body of the Four Drive Association is interested in ensuring that all user groups have continued access. So they've committed to funding the full online permit system and then would host it at their expense as well. So maintaining that, and then hosting fees for updates, etc., would come from the online permit system.
Okay, Vicky, real quick.
Yeah, just around setting the limits, who gets to decide how many people go through, and presumably you're trying to limit the number of people. So it becomes like a scarce resource. Who decides priority order of who gets to go and the numbers at any given time?
So we're looking at consultation with the community and a wide range of methods, starting with once the project is kicked off, with a public meeting in Arrowtown, followed by various newsletters in Arrowtown Village Association, etc. Websites, we've had the council website as well, our own websites, etc. And from all of that, taking feedback and giving proposal on the limits on numbers. We'll also be guided by the limits that DOC use for their at-risk places like Mavora Lakes or others. They typically are limited to something like 15 a day. We believe with proper, but those tracks don't have ongoing maintenance.
Yeah.
So with good maintenance, we should be able to have a higher number of vehicles come through, but not where we can sometimes have 100 going in and out on one day and in bad weather and that type of thing. So it'll be a consultation to determine that, and then it's the group that will be put into the system.
And so it's first.
Hang on, pretty much out of time now.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
It's just whether it's a lucky dip or it's a first and first served, or it's can you book out a whole lot, and how will you prevent someone? It worries me, the permitting system, that's all, and how you figure those things out, but I'm sure you will figure them out.
We're absolutely right. We sort of have a plan for that, and you can, the system will tell you that day's unavailable, but these are the dates that are available.
Okay,
Great,
Kevin?
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Right. See Neve and Marion here, You'd like Trust.
Thanks, Stephen.
We're off.
Yep, you're up.
Kia Kia ora.
G'day.
Kia ora.
Same again,
Elected members.
10 minutes and, yeah.
Generous.
But just to temper your enthusiasm, that includes questions. So the quicker you get your pitch out, the more questions you'll get.
Excellent. Okay. Right. Kia ora, everyone. I'm Niamh Shaw, and I have been the general manager of the Headlight Trust for approximately 10 minutes. Well, two weeks formally. Forgive me, I'm going to read off my phone because my printer broke last night, so I don't have printed out notes, which I would prefer. So I'm here to ask Council to consider continuing its support of the Headlight Trust and the work that we do. Headlight, you may have known it as the Southern Wellbeing Trust. It brought the Good Yarn programme to the district in 2022. Our purpose is raising mental wellbeing literacy, improving mental health outcomes and reducing stigma around wellbeing, all with a happy side effect of building capability in community, strengthening social connectedness and reducing social isolation. We do this by running community events and programs which provide people with the skills, knowledge and confidence to talk openly about their mental well-being, to better understand and protect their own mental health and actively support the mental well-being of friends and whānau. Promoting positive mental health and well-being is increasingly important. So key findings from the New Zealand Health Survey 2023 to 24, which were self-reported findings from a sample of adults and children, showed about 1 in 3 adults aged over 15 reported experiencing moderate, high and very high levels of psychological distress in the 4 weeks just prior to the survey. Moderate or greater symptoms of anxiety and or depression increased at a greater rate than mild symptoms over the period. According to the QLDC's Quality of Life Survey in 2024, 14% of our residents rated their mental health as very bad and mostly bad, which is obviously not good. So in addition to workshops such as its 5 Ways to Wellbeing and Burnout workshops, Headlight also designs tailored programs where gaps or needs have been identified by priority or vulnerable groups. In the first 2 years of Headlight's operation, being 2022 to 23, 41% of people who accessed our free training were migrants. Evaluation of the feedback identified a knowledge gap in migrant communities around mental health and where to get support. Headlight's migrant wellbeing program has been presented to Wakatipu's Chinese and Japanese communities and is being refined for presentation with other migrant communities. This program is co-delivered with members of the given migrant communities, so nothing about us without us. Headlight is also currently collaborating with Happiness House to design a program for volunteers who may be exposed to traumatic situations. We're also collaborating with Mental Hunts, a new charitable trust, to develop a wellbeing program for the rural community. We will be participating in and organising community events during Mental Health Week 2025, which apparently is in October this year, although there are 3 different dates given for Mental Health Week if you do a Google search. I want to just highlight the fact that Headlight is neither a health service nor a social service. We see ourselves as that safety net at the top of the cliff, but a lot of Headlight's work is in the area of bringing people together, allowing people to share their stories and experiences and just understanding value in knowing that you're not alone if you're experiencing mental wellbeing challenges. So we are requesting operational funding to support the ongoing operation costs for the year to plan and coordinate design, development and delivery of events and programs to do what we say we do on the tin, which is supporting mental health literacy, capability and community connectivity. Funded, skilled contractors are necessary to support Headlight's volunteer trustee board in delivering these programs. So I think our time to that is around about 5 minutes, so.
4 minutes 40, but holy God. Okay.
Right. And sorry, I should have also introduced Marion. Marion is the chair of the board of Headlight Trust. And I was really struck by Marion's background and interest in Headlight. So would you like to speak a little bit about your own background there?
Look, my background is first in general practice and then the second part of my career in public health. I'm no longer working in either of those fields, but have picked up the mantle with Headlight over the last 12 months or so and have been working as their chair. I think that the importance of building and strengthening mental health literacy can only stand us in good stead. Today, a report out from UNICEF identifying New Zealand as well down the stakes in terms of child and youth mental health is a real flag for all communities really to think about how they can support their members to live a state of well-being, both themselves and others.
Questions, councillors?
Love what you're doing, love the collaboration with mental health, because I looked at the other thing on there and I was like, okay, how do I find the services? I find a lot of people go through challenges but then don't know where to go to. How do you reach out or advertise in order for people to help find you?
That is a really good question. So Headlight, we have a website that we need to reconsider and revise. This trust was founded by Anna Dorsey, who is not working for the trust anymore. Catching up with her later. We have been in a hiatus for probably about 4 months. So now we're picking back up the pieces. We do have a newsletter, which I will be bringing out quarterly. We will be revamping the website to make sure that it is easy and accessible for people to go to Headlight's website and say, right, this workshop is what I want to bring to my community, and be able to engage really easily. That's not currently on the website, Headlight's website. We say we've got these programs, contact us if you're interested in that. So we'll make it easier for people to get in touch. But then we are looking at where we can collaborate with community organisations that may want to bring the workshops, the programs that Headlight does to their own community.
Just a quick one on that. Will you be going to those Salvation Army, because I think monthly they have a big collaborative. Yeah.
The interagency meetings.
The interagency meetings, that's a word. So does Headlight, I think Annie used to?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, I definitely see that as.
I can see those organisations referring. And I looked, a big question was just around just this prevention thing. Do you, because I've just read the Health Action Wanaka report and there's this massive gap in terms of accessing services. I mean, we can't get to the point where you need help. We need to prevent people getting there because the services, in my mind. But I just wondered if you had any comments around that.
Could, absolutely. This is entirely at the prevention end of the spectrum. It's about giving people tools to be able to look after themselves and then to look after others in their family or community. So, it's how we can do that. It's essentially that we boost that kind of work.
Thank you. Just what we were asked to get funding, because surely 20,000 isn't enough to run this.
Yeah. Our primary sources of funding at present are the lottery community grants, and we have also been incredibly generously supported by Central Lakes Trust. And a lot of my work is going to be that scramble, alongside other community organisations in securing
funding. We are starting to look at other ways to support, financially support the work that we do. So that's going to be one of my biggest jobs.
I just need to follow up.
No, we're out of time, sorry. The real quick one, I'll just jump in.
We're out of time.
Cheers, we're out of time, but it's cheers prerogative. Te Hau Tōka, have you picked up the resource now that they've been unfunded?
Sorry.
Is it Te Hau Tōka, the mental health,
Oh, Te Hau.
yeah, that came on during COVID and then did a lot of work post-COVID, and now it's been wound up because central government funds stopped it. Have you picked up any of their resource?
No,
Not at all. Okay, I can follow
Oh.
that one up. Will you follow that one up, Marie?
Yeah, I can follow up.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Can I just ask one real quick question?
Sorry.
Oh, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
All good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Salvation Army. Jay.
Good.
Morning.
Hi, everyone.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Good questions. Go for it.
My name's Anna, and along with my husband, we are the new Salvation Army officers and community ministries directors for Queenstown. So yeah, it's great to be here, and I'll let Hannah introduce herself as well. In case
Yeah, I'm Hine. I've worked for Salvos for 12 years. I know a lot of people here, doing the work that we're doing down here, and I'm the team leader for our area that gives out all the resources to most of the services in Queenstown. May I say, for free. We offer it. So.
Yeah, we thought we'd just share what we already provide, and then just share the vision that we have or what we've seen in the community that we would like to provide for people. So we provide a food bank, and we provide food for people throughout the week that can come in and receive the food that's given to us, but we also do assessments for food parcels and wraparound support for people that are needing ongoing support. Furniture, practical needs that people in the community need, clothing. And then we go into our counselling. We have 2 counsellors who provide general counselling. So we don't, that's not addiction or mental health, it's more just the anxiety, depression situations that people are dealing with. And then we have our positive life skills program, which is one of our main referrals that we have from the community, where we have an 8-week program that we provide to individuals, and Hannah can tell us a little bit about what happens in each of those. What are the subjects
It's a
for the topic?
one-on-one, and we cover everything from self-esteem, self-awareness, depression, grief, assertiveness, all the skills that, my opinion, should be in the high school, to be honest, right from when you're young. So I cover that, and it is, we extend on it sometimes, but it is used by everyone, the justice system, the off the street, and as I say, it's for free.
What we're wanting to do is, we've seen the success that PLP has for individuals. And Hannah has started working with couples and providing this for couples, and it's been really successful. But it's not really well known, is it, in the community that we run it for couples. So we would like to extend that, and also for groups. And one of the reasons we want to provide this for couples is that there's a lot of people and families that are struggling in Queenstown with relationship problems, with the cost of living, with accommodation. Migrants who have come to New Zealand and they don't have any family with them, and so when they get into difficult situations, they struggle with knowing how to address the problems that they have. So,
yep. Plus I do couples therapy as well, so we add that on, because sometimes they need individual work rather than get them together, so they go away and work separately, and then I bring them together.
And so on that as well, we have also seen a great need for some recovery support for people dealing with addictions to alcohol and drug. And we have a close collaboration with the AA and NA meetings that happen in Queenstown. And they have expressed, well, the Salvation Army and other areas have the Bridge program, which provides drug and alcohol counselling specifically for that. And then we have the rehabilitation and the live-in treatment plans. So the closest place that people can go to is either Invercargill or Dunedin. And a lot of people have been saying that having 2 or 3 meetings a week is not enough support for them. And so we are looking at providing PLP as group work for people who are wanting to get more support with their addictions, and also a recovery support group where people can come together and get not just around the AA and NA, but receive some other support or look at different topics that they can get help from.
We're known in New Zealand as having the biggest drinking issue, alcohol issue in New Zealand. That was on the news.
Really?
Yeah, last year or something.
You mean, sorry, locally?
The test
in New Zealand.
For Queenstown, we're some of the biggest consumers of alcohol.
Yeah.
And we've got no resources and we never have had except for AA.
Yeah.
And this is something I've been trying to push for all the years that I've been working for someone.
People say that they're really lonely and isolated within Queenstown, Wanaka. Well, we cover from Kingston right to Wanaka really, and in that area people say that they're really lonely and they don't have a lot of support network within their addiction recovery. And so this is something that we would like to move into to provide that service for people. And we have a couple of people that have approached us that would really like to head that up. So this is early days, but it's something that we're wanting to implement later in the year. Yeah.
Okay, Esther can kick us off for questions.
Thank you for all the work you do. It's amazing. I think the wraparound service is what's so crucial about what you do. So the 30,000 that you're asking for, just so I'm clear, is for operational for kind of all of the above, or is it more specific to what you just said around creating new programs for?
It's all of the above.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Have you noticed any changes in terms of funding coming from Central? I don't know what you apply for normally, but in terms, and not just for yourselves, but for the other services that you're, just a general comment.
When we started the application process, that we were told that it's really hard for people and people are losing a lot. We've lost 21% of our funding for this year. And a lot of people are saying the same thing, and more people are applying for the same funding that not so many people used to apply for before. Yeah.
Because it's not coming there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. And anyway, I just have one more, maybe just around if there's time.
Yeah, go for it.
Just around the couples therapy, I think is really interesting, and there's all sorts of flow-on effects from couples splitting. I don't know how if there's anything you want to say on that, but how that affects families, because obviously one can't just leave if you've got children. But all of that tumble flow-on stuff again, like headlight, we're just talking about the prevention and the costs afterwards. I shouldn't be talking about it. If there's anything you want to say.
It's quite a journey. I think the thing that I love, we actually journey along with them the whole thing. So if they're separating, we'll help them to work through that. The cost here is very high. We don't do housing, of course, but yeah, I think just the tools. The main thing that is a huge big bugbear is that when you get into that stressful situation, maybe they never learn to communicate properly in the first place, and then that becomes even more strain and more separation. So we just help them to mediate, working, talking together, and then work from there, journeying as to what their choices would be.
Thank you.
Sometimes we go to lawyers with them, or to wherever they have to go, or to MSD, or we advocate as well.
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Nice, thank you. Now it was Henny, is it?
Henny, yeah.
Right, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
I'm hoping it's Alana sitting at the back there.
Which organisation?
Sorry?
Which organisation?
This is the Queenstown Figure Skating Club, I'm assuming. So you got 10 minutes, Alana, includes your pitch and then whatever time's left over, like up for questions. So over to you.
Kia ora. So we are the Queenstown Ice Skating Club, and we have approached the council for funding, obviously, for the year. We are a very small club. When we started our application, we had 10 skaters in our squad. Due to medical conditions, we now have 8. And the club has been running for 30 years. And at the end of last year, it was on the brink of collapse due to funding and the limited amount of skaters that we had. The 10 parents that we have, even though the other 2 aren't skating, they're still on our committee, committed to to us. We managed to hold the club together. We've managed to have 2 of our previous coaches with us, which is very unusual for the whole of New Zealand. We've been able to maintain them. And we've had to try and grow our club. So ice time is incredibly expensive. It's between $400 and $500 an hour. And then we have our coaches on top of that, plus additional expenses every time we skate. We ideally would like to skate more than 3 hours a week, but because we're such a small club, we're unable to. We currently skate 2 mornings a week, which is a Tuesday and a Thursday. And the girls will start at 6 a.m. in the morning, a half an hour of off ice, and then we are an hour and a half on ice. So we used to be able to afford to do 3 days, but currently we can only do 2. And the girls then at 8 a.m. quickly get dressed and go to school. And we sort of transfer them around. As parents, we are all volunteers in the club, and we are also running a community-based one called Kiwi Skate or Learn to Skate. So we see this as our future for the Queenstown Figure Skating Club. This is where the community and young people come to learn to skate. And the Queenstown Ice Hockey Club and myself are working closely together, and we'll also be including the speed skaters as well for our young tamariki to learn the skills of ice skating, so that they can branch off into any of the 3. So figure skating, ice hockey, or the speed skating. We have really focused this year on the quality of the service of the Kiwi Skate in particular. We have 2 coaches on ice and 5 volunteer on ice, all from our club, teaching the basics of skating and putting them through badges to get to a certain level that they can either join the club, the figure skating club, or they can go into either ice hockey or into speed skating, or into all 3 as one child has done. So we're trying to provide a service that grows ice. We only have 1 shed of ice in Queenstown, as you know, and it is at a premium. So our off ice, our ice in the morning is $100 less, and our ice in the afternoon is $100 more. So it's $500 an hour for ice. It's the only time that full ice is available. So even if the girls or the boys want to go practice during public open skate, obviously there's the bumper cars, and you know, you're very limited on what you can do, spins, jumps, for safety for other skaters that are there. So for us, it's the affordability of our coaches that will help grow our club and sustain our ability to offer both Kiwi Skate, Learn to Skate and club in the future. So we're 30 years young. We'd like to be here for another 30 years. The children that went through Kiwi Skate, 8 to 10 years ago, and now in our squad and now representing New Zealand and are now giving back to Kiwi Skate. So it's coming full circle, and we're trying to maintain that full circle. So we will be running Kiwi Skate at a loss this year, and or break even at best, because we need to also then show the community that we are invested in the tamariki and teaching them quality skills, so that we can feed them into our other areas. We're hoping that our Kiwi Skate and Learn to Skate program is going to grow significantly with the investment that we've put in with our volunteers and our coaches. So therefore we could run a small profit that could help in the mornings with our squad advice and training our coaches. We need 3 coaches in the morning. We currently have 2, but if they go on holiday or are sick, we only have 1. And we can't afford to grow the club without coaches. We have coaches that's come over from overseas, but we can only offer them 15 hours for the season. So they have to find other employment so that they can top up their employment. If we had more funds, we'd be able to offer more hours to the skaters, more hours to the Kiwi Skates. We would be able to extend our times to grow all of the sports across the region. We have other skaters coming from outside of Queenstown, and the word is starting to spread at the moment, the quality of our Kiwi Skate program, and we'd like to continue to grow. So our investment in the coaching for us is paramount to grow ice within Queenstown.
Good questions, Vicky?
One, just because obviously this is about sustainability and for a lot of stuff, user pays matters, but you need numbers to achieve that. But I'm just wondering if the ice rink is a limit in itself, in that, and I don't know this, but if you had more people, say you've got eight skaters out at the moment at any one time, how many bigger skaters can you fit on an ice rink, in that ice rink at any one time?
An easy sort of 15 to 20.
Great, that's good to know.
Because you do it in groups, and we also, our coaches do privates and amongst it, and then we've got someone that takes squads. So we need 3 coaches on the ice. Currently we've got 2, and if we've got more numbers, we need more coaches because it splits your ice.
I'm just wondering how it gets cheaper over time as you grow. That's all.
More like at the moment, only having 8. The cost of the season for our skaters is an ice is over 80,000
for all of
and so that's split amongst the people that are there. We try and do some fundraising and things along the way. So the more people you have, we would then be able, and that your prices may remain slightly the same for a little while until that you could lower your price to increase the amount of number of people coming in to have 3 coaches. The more people you have on the ice, the more coaches you need. It goes hand in hand. Yeah. And then the prices can.
And how many hours can the ice rink give you, given it's on the reserve? I don't know what their lease does, but would they give you many more hours, or is it?
There's no one else that is willing to be on the ice at 6 a.m. in the morning.
No, but from 7 till 8 or?
Yeah, so it's that. So those, we could literally book that probably another 2 to 3 days a week during the stampede period with all of the ice. We're working closely with JC to for both of us to have the amount of hours we need for obviously for him for all the different levels of stampede, and for us for our girls to be able to go to nationals, have drop-ins as well. But the mornings definitely, and figure skating is generally an early morning sport, just like swimming.
Yeah.
So that frees up also ice at night for ice hockey and speed skating to be able to book the later if we're not booking later. Okay, thank you.
All good. 10 minutes is up. It's brilliant, Lana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I could talk all day. Guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. And thank you.
All good. Councillors online?
Thanks. Yeah.
Good.
Still here, what's up? Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you know, when's the Liberation Day? What's the process for this?